You're on with Maui,
No relation to the trademark whatsoever.
D-Mark,
I don't believe in none of this.
and X.
Which, by the way, Dick Wolf is the best name ever.
And this is When Awesome Collides.
Hey, hello. Welcome to episode 2, by my count, of When Awesome Collides, or When Awesome Cast is what we're kind of going with that name as far as that goes. Today, we've got a very special episode, obviously to my left. Your right, my left. We've got Maui, D-Mark here in the middle doing his thing. And over on my right, we've got Left Eye, or I guess we could just call him Xavier.
I mean,
Xavier X.
that's fine.
Xavier.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, so we've got a pretty good episode. We've been wanting to talk about this for a while. The greatest part about it is that it took me a little disclaimer. It took me all of 4 days to figure out a way to watch it, and I ended up having to sign up for YouTube TV. So YouTube TV, if you guys want to sponsor this video to help pay for this expensive subscription you guys have, we would appreciate it. We're actually going to be talking about The Last Dance, the Bulls. I wanted to say, before watching it, I would have said the Jordan documentary, but after watching it, which is something we'll go into, I'll call it the Bulls documentary. That Last Dance team becomes a lot more. We'll get into it. I'm going to throw it over here to Maui. He said he's got a way to. He wants to start this off and kind of get us where we're going to go. Go ahead, man. What you got going?
First off, I'm going to go ahead and pop it off and just kind of talk about like my immediate reaction. I don't know if you guys are similar, but immediately when this man starts speaking, Michael Jordan, MJ, the great 23, I knew as soon as he started speaking that this man is completely different than any single basketball player I've ever seen or I've ever heard speak. You just know that this man is great. You just know it. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like, just as soon as you hear him talking, the way that he carries himself, he was just a completely different person, and that was me.
Interview, or when they did 84 MJ, because 84 MJ didn't sound like he knew how to.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think when you start noticing that he becomes MJ, right? Like, I would say like probably like around the 90s, 91. Once he has a few seasons, I would even say like after the season where he got hurt and came back. So I would say after his third season, right, is when that happened. I mean, he's just completely different. You know, you can tell his mindset was different.
Second season.
Yeah. So his third season. Third season when he starts carrying himself with that.
Yeah.
With that aura that I would like to say. So I don't know if you guys got that immediately. When you start seeing him being Michael Jordan, when he's himself, when he is 23, when he's finally like this, like when he's finally, I want to say when he's finally home, when he's finally made it, you just know like this man is completely different. And I think that's when you kind of start noticing as the series goes on, people around him also start noticing that he's different, right? In different stages. And I think once you start seeing like Bulls mania go off, I think that's when everybody's like, yo, this guy, you're definitely watching something special. And I got that immediately from the first episode.
Yeah, one of the things that you kind of notice that it was kind of interesting to me to notice, obviously we're talking about earlier in the series, is that there's a clear, like you said, there's a clear difference between, first of all, I do want to say the way that they popped back and forth, it was unbelievable. It was great. Like, that's the weirdest. At first I was like, what? How jarring is this that they're going to go to the 97 season, then back to the rookie year, then to 93, then to college? What are they doing? But once you sit back, so remember, I watched these all back to. I watched 10 episodes straight to get into this. So once I did that, once I was able to kind of step back and say, I'm like, man, that they should have done it that way. That's the exact way it should have been. It
gives you the nuance,
right? Well, that's what I say. Like, the cool thing about it is that you can clearly see the difference. Like, we were all about that age where Jordan was in there. Like, he was at the pinnacle. Something I wrote here in my notes is I can't remember a time when Nike wasn't big.
Right.
And they were talking about how Nike was the
fledgling. It was a fledgling company.
I feel like Nike's been around since 1902.
Right. So watching something like that, the way they presented that, where they like we're in the now, and they presented it in such a way where like there's a clear difference between North Carolina Jordan and rookie season. I'm in there. I'm pushing the pace. I'm a talent, and then there's a clear change between talent and legacy.
Yeah,
and you feel it in the way that they did that presentation.
Yeah, no, I agree. What do you think, X? First take.
I thought the same thing with how they. I think I watched some of this stuff a little bit differently because I'm not a huge like sports guy, and I was 7, 8 around the time that Michael was getting ready to retire. So, I mean, you know, he's obviously this huge icon. So I grew up watching the Bulls, and my dad was a really big Pacers fan. So watching, you know, all of that.
I don't mean to cut you off, but we should probably talk about what are different, like, where do we, like, I don't know, like, what kind of fandom do we have for basketball, to kind of just give the perspective that we're giving.
Oh, yeah. Start it off. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fandom for basketball seems like not a way to describe what I have. I liked the Bulls in the 90s because I liked Michael Jordan, and I thought the Bulls were cool. But then there was the dinosaur team, so I liked...
The Raptors?
I liked, well, yeah. But I'm saying from a kid's perspective.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Those purple Johns were...
I'm like, oh, fuck.
Those jerseys were the
fantastic.
shit.
They got, you know, a dinosaur team, and then there was the Hornets.
In Canada, by the way, too. Like, that's the weirdest shit.
I
Like,
found out today by looking through shit because I saw the Seattle Supersonic shit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I
the
fucking...
Thunder.
Yeah.
Stole his whole thunder, bro.
Right.
Get it?
Yeah.
Stole his whole thunder.
It's so great. First off, I love the old fucking the old Supersonics logo with the Space Needle.
Space Needle,
And
incredible.
then the orange
Incredible.
going through it.
It is
so
great.
Good. So
It's
I
one of
saw
the
that
best.
today, and I
Yeah.
looked it up. Found out that the Grizzlies were originally from
Vancouver,
Vancouver, so
yeah.
there were two Canada teams.
Yep.
But first off, I like the dinosaurs. So the Raptors, I like the Raptors, and I like the Hornets because in NBA Jam, my dad would always pick the Pacers, and he would be Rick Smits and Reggie Miller. And when I got sick of being the Bulls because Michael Jordan wasn't on it, I would pick the Hornets. And I remember they showed him in the documentary, like BJ, whatever the hell his name was, the guy on the Hornets, the main guy on the Hornets, Harper.
And Armstrong?
Armstrong? Yeah, BJ.
Yeah, B.J. Armstrong.
BJ Armstrong. And he was
I
so
think that's his
he
name.
was so small in NBA Jam that I loved playing as him because I could dunk with a really short dude. So that's how basketball started. And then it ended until I think I played NBA 2K17 and I watched DeMarcus Cousins punch somebody in the game.
This is my favorite story. Whenever I first met Xavier and we started playing 2K, he would just randomly come up to you and just give you random DeMarcus Cousins stats or random
First
King
off-
stats.
First off,
Love
DeMarcus Cousins, because to me,
Boogie Cousins.
I played this game because I kept, you know, I have a buddy Tim. You'll hear us talk about Tim a lot. He's around quite a bit, but he had played a bunch of shit that I had told him to play, and he finally goes, "Okay, 2K is a basketball RPG, bro. Go play that." I'm like, "Nah, fuck you. I don't want to play it." And he goes, "No, go play it." So, yeah. So he tells me to go play it. I go play it, and I first got actually drafted to the Raptors. I remember that, and then fucking something didn't save, so I had to replay those first couple of games, and then I got drafted to Sacramento. And I didn't fucking know anything about Sacramento, but there was this big-ass dude who was our center, and they loved talking about him. DeMarcus Cousins. We were playing a game, and in the fucking game, they have programmed it in. This motherfucker punches somebody. I'm not talking he got whatever. He gets a technical foul and is out for 2 games because he punched somebody in the paint because they fouled him.
Wait, hold on. Like, in the story?
No, nigga.
Or it was just
in the actual game.
No. I was story mode, yeah.
Right, but I meant like it wasn't a part of the story. It just happened in the game.
It happened naturally.
Incredible.
In a game, he got fouled and punched somebody out for 2 games with a technical foul. And I was like, okay, how the fuck does this guy live his life that they went ahead and programmed in him punching somebody? So then I started looking him up in real life, and his interviews were great. He just did all kinds of weird shit. So then I became a Kings fan. And then he moved to the Pelicans. And everybody's like, oh, you like the Pelicans because Anthony Davis. I'm like, I don't know who that is, but I like DeMarcus Cousins. And I found out later he's got a unibrow, which seems to be cool. But
Anthony
fuck it.
Davis, yeah. Like, he should get rid of that.
Now
It's
he's on the
fine.
Lakers with... Is Boogie still on the Lakers, or is he in trouble?
So, yeah,
He
but
gets hurt
remember,
every
he
other
hurt,
day.
right. He tore his ACL
Anyway, so
in practice.
my new fandom with basketball is really solely centered on watching DeMarcus Cousins do things, and I can watch a game every once in a while. So I don't have a lot of fandom as much as I played the video game, learned some shit. Like one of my favorite facts that I would always yell at people was just when you think he couldn't get any better, he breaks through that glass ceiling by adding a 3-pointer to his game.
Right.
That was my favorite thing ever. So that's about where I stand on basketball.
Oh, yeah. For me personally, basketball is kind of a weird area for me, just because it's my dad played a ton of basketball when he was in the military. So on base, we played. I mean, you go that's really all you have time to do. Like, so we went for runs, played basketball, stuff like that. The sport just didn't really catch me. Like, obviously, the Bulls era, the Dynasty era, all we did was, you see Michael Jordan, you see Scottie, all those guys. Dennis Rodman was a character, which honestly, one thing I am excited to talk about, like, this does nothing to diminish this man's status in my mind.
Dennis Rodman is the pinnacle of fashion for today.
Oh, yes.
Like, if you look at every clown rapper ever, and then you see Dennis Rodman,
he is them.
Fucking 60-year-old man.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so great.
He was
I
out
love
of place
Dennis
then.
Rodman.
He would be completely like regular now. But yeah,
Right.
Growing up, I watched the Bulls. I didn't have a team for a while. The same story as my Cardinals fandom story. I actually liked the Clippers for a long time, just because I knew they were never going to succeed. So I never had to get my hopes up. Because any team that played the Bulls, I was like, dang, could you imagine? Like, which honestly, the documentary served to further, like, enshrine that, instilled in me that I was correct in my assumption. Could you imagine, like, being a Suns fan or a Jazz fan or like that's to have like two of the best duos, but no matter what you do,
You gotta get through Jay.
come on, like that.
Yeah.
And we're experiencing that now. To a lesser extent because he moved to the Western Conference, which is kind of LeBron, which we can have that GOAT debate during this show. But one of the things that was the greatest thing that happened for current modern day basketball is LeBron going to the West because of how much of a buzzsaw it is. Some weird sports talk, completely unrelated to this. If you continue to dominate, it was always the Western Conference winner plus LeBron. Like, it was just a foregone conclusion. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Eastern Conference, but the Western Conference the sixth seed in the Western Conference could beat the second seed in the Eastern Conference. Right. So you would have to play 4 rounds of tough basketball against different styles. The Warriors don't know what a 2-point shot looks like. You got the Blazers who some of the best slashers in the game. Utah's got one of the weirdest front courts in the game. Denver, like Joker and them, they've got a super weird front court that's hard to figure out because they don't do anything wrong. They just do a bunch of average things well.
Right.
But on the East, it was just okay. Like the Raptors would win 80 games in the regular season and then get put out by LeBron.
No,
the Pacers.
80 games. I looked it up. Best record?
So 73. I know.
But I know because I looked up facts.
Oh, did you? Well, thank you.
I looked up stuff so I could be pertinent
So
to this
let me go ahead and
conversation.
rephrase that. All right, sorry. So the Raptors would win 65 games.
In 2015.
Get put out in the first round. Get put out when they hit LeBron.
Stats
The Pacers,
magic.
same things. The Pacers would play whatever game. The whatever series with LeBron, 7 games get put out.
Right.
But he moved over to the West. That's a hard conference. It's tough. But
Right.
that's the best thing that could have happened for basketball because now the Eastern Conference is up for grabs and the Western Conference is up for grabs. So honestly, I'm more into basketball now than I was when I was younger, just because I say what you will about dynasties, they're kind of hard to watch after a while.
Yeah.
Just because nobody wants to watch a foregone conclusion. So
Right.
now, like basketball when I was a kid, it was fun to watch. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. Everybody
I feel
wanted
like
the
the whole
shoes.
city of Chicago disagrees with you. They stopped
Sure.
murdering people for a couple days.
Right,
to
sure,
watch this
right,
shit.
fair, but that's when you're in the dynasty. I'm sure people in Tuscaloosa, are like, "Oh man, college football is the greatest thing ever." But then if you go a couple miles down the road to Auburn, like, yeah, it's great sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's great when we beat Alabama sometimes.
I understand
None of that. Okay, Tuscaloosa, Alabama is where
I thought that was in
University of
Oklahoma. And I'm like,
Alabama.
shouldn't they be
Oh,
happy?
man.
Well, that's a whole different conversation.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, honestly, for
Geography's not
basketball,
my strong suit.
basketball more like I've
America.
become more of a Pacers fan now. Now that
Nah.
I hate to say now that it's time, there's because there's a chance to win. It's just that it's just fun. It's more enjoyable to watch now.
Right, when somebody's at
There's
least
no
competitive.
chance
Right.
of them fighting, so I don't
We
care.
agree. We can talk about that later because that's something I do want to talk
Right.
about. But yeah,
I
how
just meant
about
Jermaine
you?
O'Neal.
I'll keep mine short. So I think the first time I was really into basketball, I was in DR. I was watching, I believe,
What's DR?
Dominican Republic. I am Dominican, believe it
There
or
you go.
not. I am not Hawaiian. Regards, I know
It's
I'm going
Samoan.
as, and I'm not Samoan. I'm full blown Dominican, Dominicano, papi. Anyways, but I remember I first glanced on my favorite player of all time. Number 8 of the New York Knicks at the time, Latrell Sprewell.
That is fair. Stephon Marbury was the GOAT.
I don't want to talk about
I've
Stephon
owned so many
Marbury.
Starbursts.
I don't want to talk about Stephon Marbury.
Oh, that's
I
fair.
hate that man
I
so
had
much.
Starberries by accident.
I
Yeah.
love him. I still own him.
Yeah, I can't. But So I loved the way that he played. Also, 8 was my favorite number. So I'm originally from New York, and so I was watching the Knicks play in I believe it was the Eastern Conference Final of 1999. And I remember I saw Latrell Sprewell play. I was like, that's my favorite player because he's my favorite number. And then from there, I kind of dabbled in different teams. And after he left, I was a big Timberwolves fan because that's where he went after that. But me and basketball has been kind of just something I enjoy to watch pretty much just playoff time. But I'm always either on ESPN News or watching ESPN 2 and 3 and getting all the stats, keeping up with everything. So I still know
what ESPN actually stands for. I found that out today.
Nigga, I don't either.
Entertainment,
sports, and programming network.
Postal news.
Shut up. Postal news.
This nigga guessing. Look at him. He looked at you like he don't believe it, right? No, nigga.
Entertainment, sports, programming network. That makes it. No, I didn't want to look it up. I don't want to look it up.
Well,
it
obviously,
like
if we don't know.
Right, but it feels like one of those things you should know what it stands for.
No, nobody knows.
That.
What
yeah.
what does CBS stand for?
Central Broadcasting Station.
Ooh, suck my dick is what he said.
That is true. ABC is the American Broadcasting Company. All right, well, you know what? That's fair. What's WFIX? That's a local channel.
WFIX.
What does it stand for? I don't know what it don't matter. You don't know. Don't worry about it.
What does BBC stand for? British Broadcasting. Why did you guys pause? Why did you guys pause?
Because I thought it was. I'm like, I don't know, something in the UK.
Yeah.
Not the.
It's not the
big,
Cox.
The Bolivian Bagel Company.
Big British. Anyways, so I like sports in general. So I love this documentary. So I'm glad you guys at least get a little background of what we're into and what we like. But yeah, now we can go into the documentary itself and we can start, I know, do you have notes from episode to episode, D-Mark? Or?
I do. I didn't take them as thoroughly as last time.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I know, it's super funny that with looking back at my notes, because I make them in real time, like I literally make them as I'm going.
Yeah.
One of the things that it's so impressive to me, if you guys know me,
This nigga dying.
Last
This nigga
week
Xavier.
he put the whole thing of Cavassier in the cup. I can't.
Can you just smell it real
I'm
quick?
not
Yeah.
gonna smell it. It's
No,
probably-
bro, just smell
We
it.
still have Cavassier left over from our first episode.
Oh my.
I love it. I love it.
It smells
It
like
smells
peanut.
delicious.
I put the little
I need
prime
that.
shot of Cavassier.
Nigga, is that in
Cavassier-
beer?
Yeah.
Did you?
I dumped
This
it.
nigga put Cavassier in a stout.
I dumped it in a Prairie something or other, so I ruined a really good beer to try to palate this because last time I put
Palate.
It's
Nigga.
rough. It's a
bro,
rough drink.
it smells like
Yeah.
peanut dinner.
Hey,
It's rough.
You
yeah.
better drink that shit though.
Oh yeah, so obviously we're sipping on something every time. You know how it goes.
Sipping.
You know what I'm
Eyes are
saying?
watery.
Sipping on, tipping on. So one of the things that because I don't play video
This
games
nigga
with sound
dying.
on, it's just something I don't do. But which is we found out about last episode. Obviously, they think it's weird. I'm sure everybody out there thinks that's weird. There's very few times where I play games with the sound on. For JRPGs, I do, but for most other games, I
Nigga, I don't give a fuck about games right now. What about the documentary?
Hold on. That's what I'm about to say.
About
okay.
to tell you why it matters, bro.
Right.
Calm
okay.
down.
But my very first note for episode 1 is the music in this documentary sets a tone so incredible. I've never in my life watched the past and still been on the edge of my seat because I'm not sure what will happen.
Yo, can I add real quick something? Like when I first started watching this documentary, so I'm really big into like suspending my disbelief.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I don't know how the fuck this shit gonna end, nigga. What the fuck? Like I don't give a. But like they tell a story so eloquently, and they do it so well. Like we talked about earlier, but I want to add that in again.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like it's so the music and whenever
You
doing the
guys
games.
notice how they use some Space Jam songs in that soundtrack too, though?
I didn't.
Oh my god! I own the Space Jam soundtrack, and
Oh,
there's
okay.
at least
That's
3
good.
Space Jam songs in that documentary, on purpose or not. Music's still on point. That's
It's super
my
good.
point.
And that's what I'm saying. Like it's
They do
the way
Space
they
Jam
played
shit,
the combination between the stills that they used from those games and the video of the old video. Oh man, incredible. One of the things from episode 1, first off, young Bob Costas had me wild, and I don't know if you guys knew who Bob Costas is, but he still works. I mean, it's
no,
weird to
he
see.
stopped in 2019. It said on the TV.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
my
this
bad.
man
Sorry.
with the stats,
Hey,
he's
with
keeping
bro.
you honest.
He's with it.
I'm
but
like
yeah.
I'm like that dude in the corner on all the stuff who's just like, what the fuck is
Stenographer?
it?
Fucking Rayman?
Coach Carter, right?
Yeah.
With Samuel Jackson, he was yelling at that one kid. He's like, "How many shots he make? How many shots he missing?" That kid had a little clipboard, and he had all the fucking stats on it.
That's him.
That's me.
That's him.
Stats man.
So yeah, young, but that was wild. But also, man, Mike and them were rude to Jerry Krause. That was what I put in the first note, but it was kind of deserved by the end of
Man, there
Can I
you
say
go.
one thing?
There you go.
Real quick, so I can get all of my Space Jam until we talk about Space
yeah,
Jam.
no,
out, right? I love Space Jam. First off, I just watched it
That's
again.
fair.
My kids didn't really fuck with it, so I don't fuck with them now. But
Makes sense.
I didn't know.
He said it. He said
I
it.
didn't know
It's
who
live.
Jerry Krause was before this. I'm pretty sure they took a picture of Jerry Krause and made him the Danny
bad guy. I
DeVito
did.
alien.
I thought that's what
I
they
saw
did.
that the whole time. I looked at him like
I legitimately
that
was
little
like,
fat
dang,
toad man looks
they
like.
based that off Jerry.
Looks like
You
Jerry
can't tell me he
Krause.
didn't. I'm gonna look. We should look that up, but I'm pretty sure he did.
It doesn't matter. Even if,
Based on what I missed it, bro. Okay, I want to be in on the joke.
No,
have you
it's
not
Jerry
seen
Krause.
Space Jam?
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh my god, the little green nigga. Oh my
The
god.
fat Danny DeVito.
Oh
smoking
my
alien. He's like,
god.
back
That's
to
what I'm
the
saying.
Oh
planet.
my god.
Incredible.
I saw Jerry Krause for the first time, and then when I saw Michael saying things to him like, "Hey, are those diet pills or short people pills? Because you suck either way." I was like, "Oh my god, that's the fucking
Yo,
alien."
they were rude as fuck to
They
that
were
man.
going in on him. But
Yeah.
I get it because remember what we saw in episode 1 was later on in their careers, and now I get it. At first, I was
Right.
like, "Man, they're going in on this guy." And after
That's
I
what
was
I
like,
thought too. I'm like, I
But
want to
that's
fire
years.
that motherfucker.
Yeah.
"I get it right," and they said,
Years.
"Right, I get."
13 years of
Right.
dealing with that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Krause
tough.
got there in
I
'87.
get it.
So
Yeah, I get
87
it because at the
2003,
end when
so-
he said, he literally said, "No, if you win 80 games, doesn't matter. You're not going to be the coach after this."
82.
82. Nigga,
I'm gonna hit you with these
That's
stats.
fair.
I gotta be important somehow.
Can I tell you how fucking disrespectful
incredible.
that is?
That's incredible.
So doesn't matter how well you do your job,
You got to go.
you are leaving.
Right, and I get it. But see,
That's
the problem is-
disrespectful, but that's a tough decision.
And that's
you even hear
that's the
Pippen say
hard
he was
part.
one of the best general
Right.
managers in.
That's the hard
in
part.
the
Yeah.
history.
I get it. No, it's the same reason why. It's the same reason why, like, no, when you compare it to other sports, like, people are like, Brady. They're gonna let Brady start. Brady could be 60, and if he's like, I want to play for the Raiders, I'm sure the Raiders would be like, hey, suit him up. Like, but at a certain point, you've got to start planning for the future.
Right.
Like,
but you can't tell nigga to his face like in the
Super
beginning
fair.
without knowing
Fair.
anything.
No, what he should have been like is, look, you're gonna cost too much, I'm still not sure
No,
why.
I think what they
I'm still
should've-
not sure why Phil Jackson was the one to not come back. Like, what I'm saying? Like, why would you say that?
How
the
you
coach
gonna
is
live your whole life?
The coach
No,
is
no.
literally no. What I'm saying is the coach is like the least age necessary
Right.
position. Like,
I don't think it's that. I think Jerry Krause 100% didn't want other people getting credit for what he felt like he did.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
yes, and
so
right.
you see
And
Phil,
that's at
you
that
see
point,
Phil
yeah.
Jackson, you see
But
other
that was the
people,
point that I
and
was
he was
right.
like, hey, if
Right.
y'all leave, you're leaving. We need to rebuild.
Correct. And
because
that's what I was
those
saying.
people, but also fuck you because people are going to say no matter what, Phil Jackson gets the credit for the rebuild,
Right.
not Jerry Krause.
He was saying,
Yeah.
right, when you break it down from a perspective, that's why I said, like, at a certain point, you got to understand, like, how I was like, damn, we're giving this dude a lot of shit for, like, and that's unfair. But then you start to think, no, it's completely fair because your coach is your least age. Like, you could be 80 and still coach adequately if you're doing a good job. So the fact he said whether you win or not, you're going to go, that's personal.
Right.
And I can understand. Well, I was agreeing with you where he was like, look, he's like, oh, because I know that I'm sure it's all editing, but imagine saying, hey, you just won your 7th. And then he's like, yeah, the organization is great. No, let them enjoy. Bro, there's no way. You at some level, you'll never have a better time than when you've had. It wasn't just Jordan in this. Like, that's one of the things, great things about this documentary.
Yeah.
100%.
Is that
Yep, I agree.
It let you,
Totally.
because like when I was a kid, Jordan was like up here, and I was like, Pippen and him or that, and then I'm like, bro, no, it doesn't matter how good you are as
Yeah.
one person.
He didn't win one fucking championship until Pippen showed up.
But remember, they had to put the whole. I mean,
And he wasn't even just Pippen too. Like he can't even just give that man all.
The goggles
Yeah,
guy.
Horace Grant.
Yeah, Horace Grant.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, the problem is that I think, like you said, is old boy Krause had the short man syndrome, where yes, everyone knows it's an organization. You can't add one player to a team and instantly win everything. You have to have the right
it's
things.
An organization so many times.
Right,
I was
Yeah.
like,
and that's what
oh
I was
my
saying.
God,
Like,
bro.
basically, he was
Just
saying,
be like,
"I'm
hey.
doing it," and that's the same thing as if a player said, "Without Mike, they couldn't win it all."
Right.
And then it's like, "Well, without me, they couldn't." Well, yeah, I'm sure. Without all of these pieces,
Right.
you can't win it all.
But he didn't
You
need to
know?
remind people that. If he would have just been able to be a little bit humble, take that check and go, honestly, I don't know if it would have been a great idea, but riding that high one more year, to see if they could have done something that no one else
What he said at the end.
has still done.
What he said at the end, like what Mike said at the end. I've got a couple of Mike's like quotes where I was like, "This is why he's a different breed." Because and that was one thing where I was like, I didn't even think about it. Where he was like, "You think they wouldn't have signed one deals? We would all sign 1 year."
I don't. Well, do you want to talk about that now?
Pippen would not have. Oh, yeah. But I'm sorry. I hate to interject. Pippen is the U.S. women's national team.
Yes. Whoa. Why?
Oh, you why?
Pippen's low-key
Imagine.
Hold on.
Imagine signing a contract for guaranteed money.
Yeah, no, they did him the dirtiest.
No.
But he threw a fit and he signed the contract.
Yep.
So that's what
I understand
the U.S.
that.
women's national team signed. Like, so the men's national team said we want pay, basically depending on how well we place. If we don't place, I don't get paid. We were so confident in ourselves that if we win,
National
we get
team
paid
for
more.
what? I'm sorry.
Soccer.
Okay.
So they said if we win, we get more money. If we lose, we don't get anything. And then the women were offered the same deal, and they said no, we want guaranteed money. Then they went back after they won and said we would have made way more money if we signed an incentive-based deal. So they sued the national team. They're like, hey, you need to give us the old deal. And like, no, you can't get the better deal after you didn't gamble on yourself.
Right.
And that's when like Pippen is that same thing where I'm like, I get it. I understand after when you got 12 people to take care of, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, hey, I got to sign it. I don't know if I can't gamble on myself.
Yeah. No, I understand.
That's
So
what
this
I'm
is
saying,
my
like,
whole thing with Scottie Pippen. So we all can agree he got a shit deal, right?
Bro.
And mostly because he overplayed, right? He overplayed his contract by a lot for
7
many
years?
years.
Insane,
for
dude.
many years.
7 years?
The problem is that
You do 3 years and re-sign after
Yes,
you got
sir.
all
yes,
them
sir.
rings.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
exactly. The problem is that he said, you know what? I want the guaranteed money. He was thinking about like, his injuries and that's all fair and dandy.
And that's why
But,
in his interview, he had no furniture.
yeah. Nah, he's just fancy. But I will say this is that it would have caught. Now I don't know what the salary cap issue was.
So I watched a video about that right before I watched Last Dance. I watched a video because obviously it's trending, right? All that stuff.
Yeah.
So did you know that the year after that happened, he signed to the Rockets with Charles Barkley?
Who, Scottie Pippen?
Yeah,
For
I didn't
1
even
year.
know. Right, for 1 year he signed
For a crazy amount of
3
money,
years,
right?
60 mil.
It wasn't.
I thought it was 80 mil.
He may have signed,
Or
but he was
something,
only
yeah.
on
Yeah.
the Rockets
Right,
for
he was only
one.
on for year one. So he made more money in that one season with the Rockets than he did in all his years with the
He
Bulls.
made almost
Right.
$102 million over the course of him playing, and the fact that he made all that after fucking like $22 million
Yep.
with his 6 rings is
It's
insane.
crazy. But
Yeah.
again, that's what I was saying. Like, so would they have signed 1 year? Maybe. But if you had offered Pippen,
Well, here's the thing, though.
Billy,
but you're about to do something that no one else.
they had already done something about
Yeah.
No,
that.
at
Right.
the time. But what they had done had still been done again.
Yeah.
That's different. You can't know that post.
This is
What's
the
the chance
problem.
of winning 4 though?
This is the problem is that we're talking from 2020 eyes, right?
so hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
We know that now.
I
Yeah.
got one good eye. I got
he
Hindsight's
got
20.
this 20. But I will say, so yeah, like we talked about before, Scottie didn't bet on himself, right? He
He
made
was
that
not
mistake,
confident in
but
himself.
like I said, I don't know what the salary cap situation was, but one thing that they did highlight was that hey, they got all this revenue money specifically because the Bulls were becoming so nationally recognized. So they had so I know for a fact that they were making way more money than they
should have given.
they should have restructured his
However,
contract.
Right,
From,
it's a business.
From a
You're
Jerry
right. No, I
Krause
agree.
standpoint, when you already see this motherfucker being
That's what I'm right.
Like,
Because when
I'm all about
when
money
you're dealing
and
with
you
the literal
signed this
Space Jam
dotted
villain,
line.
like when you're dealing with the literal Space Jam villain,
Right.
yeah.
No.
Like
And that's where, so I understand like his standpoint, and then like being like, yo, I was Robin, then I was Batman when Batman decided to take his ball and go home, and I try to do my thing, and then I'm still here, and I'm competitive. I'm one of the top 5 players
win, though.
in the fucking
but
league.
Again, they wouldn't have won. I mean, if
I
Jordan didn't
bet-
win by himself.
I
Right.
bet if Jordan hadn't retired, though, they would have won. That
Well,
next
yes,
year,
they
too.
would.
No, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
But yeah,
absolutely.
but that's what. Yeah,
Didn't
that's
they-
what. So the disservice to Scottie.
So who's to
Scottie
say they
Pippen
couldn't
may
have
have
won
been-
like 8 in a row?
That agreed, and that's
Right.
what. Hold on. So agreed, because my very next point on this sheet is this quote. It chills, because if you've ever played any sort of sport, everybody out there, if you've ever played any sort of sport and succeeded in it, I'm not talking about winning natties or national championships. If you even I'm talking about if you're in high
just
school,
setting goals and
if you won
achieving
a
them.
conference championship in high school, you'll understand what I'm talking about. He said, we are entitled to defend what we've won. When asked, are you guys going to...
Absolutely.
are you and then in episode 10, he said something where I was like, I know this dude is the epitome of what we should aspire to be. He said, now we know, say what you want. They can't win until we quit. And I'm like, that's the two things. Because everybody, honestly, I always thought that Jordan was a selfish person as I was younger, just because there's no way someone can be so famous and so good at their thing without having some sort of a huge ego. Yeah. But the cool thing that, obviously, you'd have to look more into it. Obviously, I wasn't there. None of us were. Yeah. But seeing him say, everything he said was, my team, my boys. He's like, I'm the best out there. Yeah, sure. We know that. That's a fact. We all know that. I'm also on the best team with the best hitters. And I'm like, I know that everybody in one of the documentaries said everybody was scared of him, everybody feared him. Yeah, you should. Anybody who's willing to push you to be your best and then has your back, right? Bro,
somebody who's
that's
willing
a different
to
level.
push you to what you don't know your best is,
then,
I think, is a different thing.
And then he's pushing you to be an incredible athlete to keep us down. He's like, look, I'm the best, and if you stick with me, you will be the best. You will be. I mean, we will be some version of the best until we stop being the best on our own terms. And I'm like, that's it, bro. Like, that's why I believe they would have signed 1 year if they had gotten, if they should have gone to the back, they should have gone into the office. Yeah. Said, Scottie, here's a check for what you were worth as the second best player in the league all this time. We a little under the table, little right. Hey, so here's a car dealership. There's a car in spot 6 with a briefcase in the trunk. I'm not saying what's in it. It could be a pile of the money we owe you, and then keep it going. Like, let them lose until they can't do it.
I'd be like, nah, bro, I want duffel bags. Ain't nothing fitting no
fair, right? Fair. I don't know. Actually, have you seen $10,000 something like this much, like in physical bills?
I want you to go out and look it up. You can't fit $1 million. You can't fit more than $2 million in a briefcase.
Right. It might be. That's fair. It'd be like a trunk full of. I didn't say it was. It's fair. I'll just concede. Go ahead.
So here, let me talk about. So I have a lot to say about this specific topic.
Yeah.
So like we talked about the last episode. So I used to be the head coach of robotics team. And so I feel so during this documentary, I feel a lot of connections with Jordan. Mostly because I know the feeling that he went through from like coming from nothing to being something, from seeing. You guys good?
Bro, you say that aggressively.
I know what it feels like to come.
You said,
like coming. Well, I do like coming. So, but all jokes aside, to come from nothing. So you're like, he came in to the fucking Flint Tropics. You know what I'm saying? He came into the absolute worst fucking like shit show. Niggas was drinking, smoking, crack, horse. Oh, it was great.
I didn't know that. I've only been alive while the Bulls have been incredible.
Been great, exactly.
It's wild to know that.
No, you were alive. No, you were alive before that,
right?
But you don't remember anything but them being great.
Right?
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's great
to be so damn good. That I can't remember before they were bad. They're bad now.
Yeah,
but I can't remember when they were doing lines. As he kept it, I don't do no lines.
Yeah, he was snitching.
I wrote that as one of my notes. They were doing drugs, but not me.
Get out of here, dude! You want no part of this shit? Is all I could think about when that shit was going down.
Some of that cocaine.
No, get out of here, MJ! You want no part of this shit? You got cocaine and hoes. He was like, I don't want no cocaine. I just want to play basketball. Oh man, if you have not seen fucking Walk Hard, dude, you're doing yourself a giant disservice. Please watch You gotta watch fucking Walk Hard. Anyway, so
cocaine.
When he was talking about how when I came here, there was nothing, right? We were awful. You could even say he didn't say these words, but they were the laughing stock, right? They're like the Bulls. What the fuck's the Bulls? And I don't want to say that my team was very similar, but we didn't have any direction. We were very, very, very irrelevant, and I had been there for. Let me see. I want to say I'd been there for almost 8 years and living through mediocrity. And, like I said before, like I was going to quit because I just got sick of being fucking just getting shit on. Like I see all the potential. I see all the greatness. And one thing that we talked about the last episode too is the sacrifice of being great, right? I talked about that a little bit when I was talking about how I was quitting the team that I was on. And his sacrifice was, look, I'm going to be, so he came up, and one thing I want to mention is that Michael Jordan old school as shit, but the old school of like you earn everything that you want and you have to earn that respect. He said, you guys are the old heads. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to earn your respect. He went in, he outworked every single person for them to say that person is the best player on this team his rookie year. Everyone already knew that shit. And as time went on, they started noticing, like, man, I can't keep up with this kid, right? Because he was just like, I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to earn your respect, and I want you to follow because I'm here to achieve greatness. And I kind of went through the same thing, right? There was a lot of growing pains when I was first to coach people. Like, a direct quote one of my kids told me, anonymous, because he wouldn't tell me, and it's all good. But he said, I feel like I have to choose between being the best or having fun. And I thought that was the most disrespectful shit I've ever heard. And you know what?
In what way? You elaborate for me.
So he was saying, like, there's no in between. I can't have fun and be great. And I said, that to me, though, so disrespectful, because I thought we're all here to achieve one thing, right? We're all here to be great. And if you feel like being great and having fun is not synonymous, like, that didn't make sense to me. And again, I'm talking about at the time, right?
I was like, you watched the
No,
fucking
yeah. And I'm trying to tie them together, right? So Jordan was like, I'm trying to be great. I don't give a fuck about anything else. If I offend you, always assume positive intent. And I think he didn't say those things, but he was trying to say that with his actions, right? I'm here. I can go to any other team, right? He has the option of being a free agent. He could have not re-signed with Chicago. He chose to be there. He wanted to take that team that drafted him, that believed in him when no one else did, to take them to the promised land. He said, I want to wear this jersey number 23. I want to take the shitty of Chicago and be great.
You say no one else did, but he went third in the first round, so somebody might have picked him.
The two people just passed up on him, and you don't know who would have picked him at what time. But I'm saying is that you got to think about where he comes from, right? He was cut from his varsity basketball team, right? And then he said, I'm all right, I got you. He came back and he was like fucking phenomenal. He also grew, but he also got a lot better, right? And then he went to, he didn't really get that many scholarships. Then he went to North Carolina, and they were like, well, we didn't really have him on our radar. And then we thought he was the best fucking player in the fucking country. Went to North Carolina, fucking murdered it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, he's always been the underdog. Always, always, always. He got drafted to the Chicago Bulls, trash team. They're like, here's this fucking kid from fucking, from who knows where, North Carolina. He's not a center. He's not a power forward. This is a big man's league, and what the fuck is he going to do? From the very beginning, he's always been told that you cannot be great. He said, fucking watch me. And so you got to, so when now to tie back to what I'm saying. So this kid, he had been going through the mediocrity, and for you have to accept mediocrity, right? And then once someone says, hey, listen, we're not doing that shit anymore. This is what we're doing. You're going to work a lot harder than you were doing before, 1,000% more, because he at that point had no idea what hard work was until I said, we're doing this, right? So now you're going from, I'm having a good time, hanging out with my friends and doing some stuff here and there, to saying, I am focused every single second I'm in here. I am actively doing something to help the greater good and more than myself. And for some people, it's hard to give up that. How do I call it? To give that up and say, like, all right, I'm doing something selflessly. I'm doing something for something that it affects me in a fraction, but everything that I do affects the greater team in general. So the fact that someone's saying, hey, you can't just fucking be on your phone. Hey, you can't just fucking like go and like smoke weed. Hey, you can't just fucking, like Michael said, you can't just be out all night drinking with girls and doing whatever. That's not what it's going to take. It's this. And just saying, we have to keep on pushing, because if you want to be the best, this is what it takes. And it's even harder once you get there. And to tie it to what I'm saying is that there was a lot of growing pains. There was a lot of times where I would personally go home, and you didn't see the nights that like I was crying because the kids were being disrespectful to me, even though I wanted nothing but the best for them. Yeah, I would like chew their heads off, whatever, when they were doing wrong or they weren't doing the best things. And it probably wasn't necessarily the right thing to do at the time, but they needed to hear that, right? So Michael was
comparing yourself to Michael Jordan or Jerry Krause?
I'm saying he understands.
I'm relating.
Struggle
Yes,
of greatness.
Yeah, so
because he's Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I'm trying to say I'm trying to say I'm the fucking Michael Jordan of robotics. So fucking write that shit down. And it's been a fucking no. I'm not the Michael Jordan of robotics. But what? Yeah, I am saying that.
But you weren't roboticing. You were telling him so. Either you're the coach or you're Jerry Krause.
No, but I get what he's in general. I get what he's.
So what I'm to wrap it up. I know I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but it takes a lot for you to say, I want to do this thing, but someone else is saying you're doing that shit wrong or you're not doing enough. Kind of like we were kind of going through today, right? You had your way of doing a certain thing. Someone else had a different philosophy. And instead of actually like understanding, all you say, like, I don't understand, like the loss of translation of communication, right? When I'm saying like always assume a positive intent, Michael Jordan always wanted the best for his teammates. What else did he want but the best? He wanted you to be there, right, with him And he wanted to share that together, win championships with the city of Chicago, with the teammates that he's riding with, the niggas that he was fucking fighting with. He said, yo, we're a fucking family. And even if I fucking talk shit to you, or I push you, or I do whatever, it's only to make you better because I personally feel like this is what it takes to be great. And you know what? So people would talk shit about that man and say like he was an asshole, whatever. But like all I saw was love. And it's hard to understand that when you're not cut from that cloth, right? So when I was saying earlier before, like I can tell immediately that Michael Jordan's completely different. He was completely different because he's so fucking competitive. He doesn't want to do anything. If it's not being the best, what's the fucking point of doing it? Why waste my time? And I think a lot of us can relate to that. And that's what he was trying to accomplish. Like if you're not doing everything that you can possibly can to be fucking the best, if you can't fucking dribble, you can't fucking be here and practice for 16 hours, that's what it takes to be the best in the fucking world at this. And if you want to be a little bitch and you want to go fucking drink or you want to hang out with your fucking wife, you want to see your fucking kids, this is not as important. No, this is not as important to you.
Sidebar.
No, hold on. This is not as important to you because I am willing to put everything aside, everything, sacrifice everything. My brand, my family, his fucking dad got murdered.
And he took 18 months off.
He took a year off.
He took a year
and a half.
Yeah. But
he came in halfway through the next season. Also,
that's after winning 3 championships and dealing with the fucking pressures of that. And on top of all of that, dealing with Jerry Krause, Scottie Pippen being a bitch and his teammates complaining.
Scottie Pippen wasn't a bitch in 93. First off. Secondly, Dennis Rodman. Everything you said.
I love that man.
Everything you said, though, all I think is like, you can't do this shit.
There's an enigma. Now, there's the enigma.
Exceptions to the
Thank
rule.
you.
And that's what, the thing he was talking about earlier, to kind of put it in perspective for this competitive thing, is that this morning we were having an Overwatch issue.
I don't know
I
how to relive this shit.
No.
He's saying
you'll see.
Yeah.
Well, in general, you don't. It's super funny that he doesn't understand. To me, that what Lenny is talking about, because that's literally the conversation we had earlier.
It's perspective, right?
His perspective was
right.
So that's why we're rehashing it.
You're right.
You said prospectively. Yeah. Okay, I'm saying like you just give him a hard time. Okay, that's it. But yeah, so in perspective, it's
because I love Dennis Rodman and it went against everything.
So there's an exception. Right. So that's actually what I was tying it into. There's an exception to every rule. You can, our conversation earlier was that if you're not going to be to actively seek to be your best at all times, you shouldn't engage in the activity. And my logic was, that's fair, but there are people who want to be the best in their area. And you don't always, and the difference, I guess, would be is that on the Bulls, when you're doing it for money, it's a whole different philosophy in my mind. Like if I were paid to do something, you're damn right I'm going to do it to the best of my ability all the time. I guess that's the reason why this morning
not even it shouldn't even take for you to get money to do the best, right?
That's the change of perspective,
right?
Because for me,
I would do way better if somebody was
paid if someone right.
I would do something I hated doing if somebody paid
to
me.
the best of my ability.
Yeah.
Do it
right. So
more than I want.
But again, like you said, there's people come from a different cloth. But the reason why I say there's exceptions to the rule. Ben Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowls, and he has never worked out in the offseason.
Right.
He not once. Like he literally said, this is the first time in my career that I've done anything outside of the regular season. So I get what you're saying, but like there are exceptions to every rule. Dennis Rodman literally said, "Hey, I need to." But you know what? Honestly, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if that's actually the correct connotation to put on him, because he said, "Look, for me to be my best,
I got to do wild shit.
I got to wild out.
I got to do wild shit."
He told him the first time, not the next time. The next time they're like, "Where's Rodman?" They're like, "He's not here." Well, is he okay?
Right.
He's not here. I don't know.
I get it. So for Jordan, it was ferocious intensity
wrestling.
in everything that happens to him. For Dennis Rodman, he was like, look, for my style of play, I need to just wild out.
Yep.
You know what I think is wild really quick, though, since we're talking about Rodman, and I cannot stress enough how much I have always loved Dennis Rodman.
I also always loved.
He's an icon.
Yeah, I fucking love Dennis Rodman.
It wasn't even just the basketball thing. I didn't know he was on. I always thought Dennis Rodman was only on the Bulls. I need to make this very clear to everybody.
Oh, man.
Nigga.
Yes.
I also thought the same thing.
Hold on. No. Everybody listening. If they were on whatever team you were on in the 90s is the team you were always on and the team you finished on. I didn't realize people got traded so much, except I knew Shaq went to Orlando. But he didn't go to Orlando. He started there.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Lakers. Fuck it. Anyway.
Then he went to the Celtics and the Suns.
I have always loved Dennis Rodman. And at no point during this thing did I stop loving him. However, while I knew he did wrestle, I never knew
that he fucking left.
hold on. Not that he just left.
I fuck with it so much.
Not that he just left. That he left after Game 3 in the championship.
Nigga, I love it so much.
To go fight with Hulk Hogan.
So, hold on.
And that nigga, Hulk Hogan was like, some things are worth missing practice for, brother. I get killed. Man. He was fucking cigars.
Also, why was Hulk Hogan... Did they draw that beard on him?
No. That was Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He's a
you
shit.
don't remember Hollywood?
Nigga, I love...
don't-
Did you not watch WCW, nigga?
Wow.
I wasn't allowed.
You are gonna
We're
get...
doing a live react. Hey, stay tuned. Hey, if you thought... Hey,
Nigga, I can't wait.
Episode 3 or 4, or we going 3.5? It's
Some-
just gonna
at some
be us
point.
watching WCW stuff.
Nigga.
Because you can't... Hold on, you can't... Okay. That's a
I wasn't allowed to watch it. I tried to play a video game once.
You
I
are
was like,
20-something years old. You're a grown man now. Whatever the fuck you want to watch
the
now.
Spurs also.
Yeah.
Who?
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that was that... Oh, before the Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wild.
In 91? I looked this shit up earlier.
No, I think it was...
I think so.
Okay.
Ooh, no, it was 90-91. And the fact that Rodman already had two.
No. The Pistons
No.
were 1986 to 93. The Spurs were 93 to 95.
Had to be all he was
sorry.
gone.
Hold
Yeah.
on. Here's what. This is the wild.
He
hold
had
on.
two rings, and they retired his number.
Hold on, this
they
is the weirdest part.
retired his number in Detroit.
This is the weirdest part. He only played for the Bulls for 3 seasons.
And
The
got
3 seasons
rings.
that they needed him.
And got rings.
Got trippy
Bro.
Reds. Got trippy
In all
rings.
fairness, he had 2 rings before he touched the Bulls.
That's fair.
LeBron been playing for
That's
20
crazy.
years and only got 2.
That's-
3.
so-
Yep.
LeBron got 3. Sorry.
Real quick, I'm sorry. I just want to kind of interject and
Oh,
real quick
yeah,
with
go
Dennis
ahead.
Rodman. But I feel so bad for that man. When I was watching the document, I just felt so bad for Dennis,
What's that?
and only because this is why I feel bad for Dennis. Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever said that anyone feeling bad for Dennis Rodman.
I think lots
The
of
reason
people
why
have.
you think so?
Yeah, definitely.
So let me tell you why I feel bad.
But he's never felt bad for Dennis Rodman.
No,
so.
Dennis Rodman fucking living. The problem I feel bad for Dennis Rodman is that man was a hedonist, right? Before social media, before
now
anything.
He'd be a goat.
Yeah,
He'd be the goat.
He'd be the shit.
He'd be Gronk now.
Right.
Like he'd
so
literally be
he
Gronk.
was out there living his life, and for the record too, like whatever lifestyle you choose to live in your own time, like fucking do whatever the fuck you want to do, like live your life, be happy, live
I don't
life
want
to
a
the
PSA
fullest
right
extent.
now. Do that in a minute. Explain
Yeah,
the rest of this.
No,
No,
but
okay,
that was literally it. Is that he was literally a hedonist.
That is the Dennis
Yeah.
Rodman is the PSA.
Yeah. Dennis Rodman is a hedonist, and it sucks
Hell
that
yeah.
he had the experience like being that way, right, in a public light when back in the day everybody was so fucking conservative. And they couldn't understand that, like, people just do wild shit. Sometimes you just want to fucking get high. Sometimes you want to fucking fuck bitches. Fucking.
He said in that
fuck.
he wasn't doing drugs. I don't know how true it is.
That nigga was doing
But,
all
like-
the drugs, bro. I don't care what. Like, I know that man was doing. He said he didn't do. Where? Show me that clip. I need to see it because I think he was lying.
He brought it up. He said he could have been a drug dealer or murderer or whatever, but he said he never really got into that stuff because he played basketball.
No.
Right.
No.
No,
He said
that's-
he never got into selling. those
Yes,
things.
he did
No,
all of those
I'm
things.
pretty sure he said doing
No,
it.
no, son. He was talking about, like,
Do
coming
that
up.
drugs stuff.
Yes.
Not do the drugs.
Right.
He
Like,
was very
yes.
careful in his wording. He
That man
said
did all
he-
the drugs.
Right, but that's the cool. That's again. This is the thing about.
I
this
just want to be
documentary.
so good at something that everybody's like, especially the greatest player of all time, arguably the greatest player of all time before I get screamed at. Everybody's talking, they're like, hey, you missed the first couple minutes of practice, we're going to beat the shit out of Rodman and you don't get to join because you were late. Michael doesn't say anything but go, Rodzilla. You watch this man rip people new assholes. Dennis Rodman disappears, gets fined, doesn't give a fuck, shows back up at practice, takes his thing off, and they're like, hey, do your thing, Rodzilla. And I was like,
It's incredible, dude.
I want
'Cause he
in my
did the
life to
exact
be
thing-
that good at one thing that I can dip out
That's-
and be like, but when you get me, you got me, so leave me alone when you
That's
don't
the
got
thing
me.
that again. That's what makes this documentary so great is that you realize it's there's levels to this shit. There's more nuance. Like
Yep.
Dennis Rodman couldn't shoot, couldn't do anything beside the 1 to 2 things
That
he could do.
man.
He could
Boards.
he could clean the glass,
Boards.
and he was going to give you that extra effort. Like that's what. So if you played sports,
What
if
was
you
the
play-
trivia? He had like 5 games with no points but 20 rebounds.
Yeah, and he also was the defensive player of the year or the rebounding leader for like 5 years.
He had 5 rebounding. Yeah.
That's
Champion-
incredible.
That's amazing in
That's
the
in-
whole league.
Yeah.
Boards.
He
Boards.
finished his
Boards.
career stats at fucking 16.1 rebounds for his entire career.
That's wild, dude. But
His
yeah,
points were under 10.
right. But that's what's
Don't
saying,
matter.
like,
No,
that's
I
Role
know.
player.
Right.
Yep.
He
So
knew what he needed
in
to
general,
do.
Yes,
that's
sir.
the
And
thing
he
that,
beat the shit out of people.
again, so
Karl
that's the
Malone?
thing that makes
The
So
mailman.
yeah, that's what makes like
Beat me
so
up, the mailman.
people like the Patriots like dynasties and people are like I don't understand like oh they they'll be fine without Brady. They may not be Super Bowl contenders immediately or whatever.
Yeah.
The great thing about the like
Bucks will.
maybe
Maybe no. The reason I'm saying maybe is because you can place a lot of stock in one or two players, but I hate to be Jerry Krause. It's kind of an organizational thing.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, look, Jordan's going. I'm gonna score a cool 50, 30, 35 to 50. I got it.
Right.
Pippen is going to do everything else. He's going to fill those
Assists,
extra roles.
be open.
Right. He's going to facilitate everything we got going on. We got a shooter out there on the edge. We got a big center to kind of help set the tone down low. But we're missing something. What are we missing? Oh yeah, the ability to get right. The second chance shot. One of the things that is so impressive about the Warriors that I didn't even think about. The Warriors are actually super inefficient. Their shooting percentages aren't that great. They're super good at getting rebounds. I did not know that. I assumed that when they go up, they just go in. But I mean, it's better than average. Don't get me wrong. But when I think of Clay and I think of Steph, I'm thinking 75%. You don't understand what I'm saying, but
I absolutely understand what you're saying.
75%.
I know who both of those people are because I haven't lived under a rock, and I know what 75% makes.
Right, but they're really good at getting rebounds. The second chance shots can change a game. Like especially if you are efficient. It's great if you're inefficient. Right, it's great if you're inefficient, but it's incredible if Jordan and Pippen and them are miss shots very seldomly, but then they literally get 100% of the attempts back. It's over. It's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
And so that again, neither here nor there. But this documentary was great because it presented. So first off, you said earlier you said Jordan it's great to see somebody. They all came from nothing. That was incredible to see. Rodman got kicked out the house, just hanging out on the streets for 2 years, and then at college was like, "Hey, you want to come get dubs?" He was like, yeah, fuck it, come get dubs.
Yeah,
and then dubbed
Scottie
his way
Pippen's
to the
dad had a stroke, and his brother got paralyzed.
Yeah.
He played at a school. The only reason I know where Central Arkansas is just because I know really good trivia
Central
about sports.
Arkansas,
right? It's a Bears stand up, but I know as far as that goes. But like the NAIA. So for people who don't know, there's the NCAA.
Scottie Pippen won an award for that.
Why is there no image on that?
Oh no. I got it.
Oh yeah. So the NAIA, so in the United States, if you're listening to us outside of the country, which you're not, but if you were, there might be. The NCAA is our main collegiate body of sports. But the NAIA, which I played football for an NAIA school.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Marion, stand up. It's a smaller league, and to get noticed in the NAIA, even if you so a school here where we live, an NAIA school played a Division I AA NCAA team and beat them 48-14. So the ability is there. It's just the money, the marketing, advertising, and the general level of play throughout isn't as good. So to get noticed playing in the NAIA is hard. Yeah. So the fact that Scottie he wasn't even on the team. He worked his way onto. So he literally, there's a difference between I don't think MJ started from the bottom. No. He was overlooked. Sure. I'll give you that. He was overlooked. Fine. But Pippen literally started out as not even on the team, on a team that's not even on a radar, to being selected in the draft. And then if he weren't on the Bulls, he would have been the star of whatever team he played on. It just so happens that he was playing with the greatest person in his era.
Which, again, he was almost on the...
Arguably all time.
Which he was on. That was the best. He was like, yeah, I'm so glad to be a Sonic. And they're like, hey, did you hear that you just got traded? He goes, huh?
You're wearing the wrong hat. And he's like, okay.
I guess, right.
He's like, am I still on a team, though?
Right.
Did I make it?
Yeah.
But again, also, for anybody who didn't watch if you didn't watch the...
documentary.
the XFL this year, that is the best example. That interview is the best example of what made the XFL great. You would watch somebody throw a pick or mess up on a play. I watched a quarterback throw a pick, walk over to the sideline, and the reporter walked up and said, "What were you thinking when you threw that obviously terrible pass?" And I'm like, could you imagine?
Real quick, and you only said it because XFL. Did you know that in 2005, Dennis Rodman became the commissioner of the Lingerie Football League?
Let's go.
You know what? That's not even news. That's just fine. That's fine. That's a natural course of events. I didn't know that before, but I didn't.
I know now. And you said XFL, so I'm like, other aspects of football.
I didn't even realize.
He was the commissioner of the Long Beach Football League
That's
in
exactly
2005.
what it
That's
should have
right
been.
on brand. That's right on brand.
Wikipedia is a motherfucker for information, everybody.
You can't use it in school.
Which makes no
but
sense.
It's one of the most
Yeah, you
accurate
can.
things in history.
Your teachers really don't check your shit, so
That's
what you
fair.
do
Yeah,
is
they
you
do.
read every... No,
And then you go
read
down to the
everything on
source at the
Wiki-
bottom.
I'd say you just look at the source in the
read
bottom
everything
and
on
just say, yeah, that's my
Wikipedia.
source.
Kids,
You
Hey,
read everything
we're
on
not
Wikipedia.
saying do that.
Then you find a
Definitely
really
do that
off the
shit.
topic source that's
Do that
really
shit.
long, and you bibliography that one. So they're like, "Fuck, I can't read
I'm
all
not
this
saying
shit."
I didn't do that in school, but there's a chance that I did do
If
that.
you
I
change
definitely
2
did it.
words in every sentence, it doesn't.
you're good. You can't get found
They
out.
can't
It's
get the
not
plagiarized
fair.
thing either.
But
They run you through a test, and they're like, this person wrote every word.
Yes, sir.
yeah. So the documentary in general, just a great. And honestly, I'm not even speaking from content at this point. I'm speaking from presentation. Like one of the greatest things about this podcast so far, for me personally, has been that it's seeing Xavier go. I'm not about that anime. If you tuned in episode 1, if you haven't tuned in episode 1, what the hell? What are you doing? Why don't you like us? Are you racist? Go
Bitch.
back and watch episode 1. You bigot.
Wow.
Well, I know. Yeah, I'm not the
Big MAGA.
I
Yeah,
actually
big
like
MAGA.
I like being part of the conversation where somebody might be racist against me.
Please, guys.
Usually I'm on the
Watch
other end.
Go listen to our podcast.
No mask, you MAGA. I'm like, oh my God, oh no.
Now you owe us 14 minority dollars. Go subscribe to
I
our
need it.
Patreon and our OnlyFans.
OnlyFans coming.
Do I get any of
OnlyFans.
those?
Yeah, you get it. You just got to give me like most of it for reparations.
Can I have
For being your pimp.
$1 of it?
Yeah, of course. Just one singular
No, $2
dollar.
because that's how that works.
No,
Yeah.
bitch.
Y'all
$1.
Get, y'all get
We get the majority.
11 each.
Yeah.
Wow. What the fuck is that?
What was that?
I don't know.
Not mine.
Car.
Shit. Is that your wife?
No, I don't know.
It might be.
I don't know what noise my car makes.
So as far as when he said, hey, I don't even like anime, I don't mess with it. It's okay, it's not great. We put him on a couple anime. He's like, I got the Crunchyroll subscription, I love it. And then one of the things he texted us immediately was like, I didn't think I was gonna like this. Like I didn't think it was gonna be comfortable for me. But he watched and he was like, oh, there's so many levels to this shit. It's incredible to watch. And literally, basketball's okay. That's fine. If you give me a documentary about football, I'm in there. I'm eating. If you give me one about soccer, even, which is funny because I didn't start liking soccer until recently. I have more passion for soccer than for basketball. But just the beginning, I was like, oh, this is it. They did it. They did it. Cinematography. I mean, if that doesn't inspire you to succeed, I do not know.
You know, one of the coolest, and it goes on what you're saying too. And since we've started doing a lot more of this shit, and you guys will be flooded with content at some point, since we're this is retroactive to when you'll hear it versus what we've put out. I've been doing a lot of like video editing and audio editing and shit like that, and they teach you a lot about the theory of doing things and why you do them and when you should do them and the impact that certain things have. So even watching the documentary from that standpoint, with again how jarring it was at first to skip from Jordan as a kid to it starts out at that very last moment of the Last Dance and it keeps jumping back and then some of the music choices and stuff. Even from not only they knew they had fucking banging content when they're like an unprecedented amount of media exposure for the Last Dance, which is dope that they did that because then we could get something like this. All the other things that they cut together, even from just how do we make this interesting to people who know about Jordan but don't really understand the impact that he had on the sport itself, and we need to make sure that they feel compelled to watch week to week.
Yeah.
Even watching it through that standpoint, it's just masterful, what they've done and how they did it. And I could appreciate from that standpoint too, because so many things are good because they happen to be good, not because they're done well. This was good because A, subject matter, but B, they took the time to make sure they did it well, except I really still just wish, even if they had to rent it because he got no money and he got fucked in his contract, they would have given, Scottie like a couch or a TV or something because he
like the Kawhi treatment.
He's basically in what I call a porn mansion. It's one of those mansions that somebody buys that has no furniture in it, and they put a folding chair in there and said, "All right, Scottie, lean back. You got to see that window in the back," but there was no furniture. Also, just throwing this out now because I don't know how I'll get there organically. Scottie Pippen looked like Squidward. I can't stress enough.
He does look like handsome Squidward.
He does like handsome.
Like handsome, not like a Squidward who's handsome. Like
handsome.
Yeah.
Squidward.
No, I'm trying to. Yes.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah.
like handsome Squidward.
There's some very compelling features to Scottie Pippen, but he's got a Squidward ass nose.
So, a little thing that I was, as far as fun trivia that Xavier's been throwing out. The coolest thing about Dennis Rodman, the coolest fact is that he went to a college. So he went to Southeast Oklahoma. They're now called the Savage Storm, which is honestly a badass
Pretty
name.
fucking dope. Shout out to the Savage Storm.
Or that's like their mascot.
Their mascot. It's the Southeast. When he went there, it was the Southeast Oklahoma Savages, and I was like, wow, that's fucking excellent. And I just went to their site to take a look and be like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and look at their website. I always enjoy looking at a well put together site. They changed their name because I'm assuming they probably the NCAA required all the schools who had Indian as their name, as their mascot. So
Native American.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Miami of Ohio.
No, that's what I said. You did not say that.
He definitely said
Louisiana,
Indian.
Monroe.
You did the whole dot.
Yeah, there's a couple
did.
other schools that they had to change their name from. Arkansas State. They had to change their name from Indian to something else. And I'm assuming that probably was what happened here. But they picked the Savage Storm. Top notch. If you live in Oklahoma,
They
you go to
didn't
Southeast
change their
Oklahoma.
name; they added to it, which is even better. That's the most Rodman move ever. They
Right.
said, "Nah, bro, we already wrote Savage on too many
so
things,
that's what-
so we're just gonna put
Add
Storm
one more
on the
word?
end of it."
I actually kind of think it was a cost cutting because they're like, oh, we're the Savages, and like somebody at the office was like, yeah, but you know how much paint,
TORM to
you know
that.
how much
That's
paint we
Storm.
got to do it. Yeah, nah, Storm. Put Storm.
Is
on
it one
there.
word?
Savage Storm.
No,
Please,
it's two.
oh my god! Because
That'd
like
be hilarious.
savages, the next word has to start with an
But
S.
this logo though, this logo, incredible. Whoever designed that deserves a raise.
Southeastern? Oh, Eastern. I just
So
see
I
a
haven't
dude with
seen it.
one big ear.
I haven't seen it yet, but I imagine it's
No,
an
I don't
angry-looking
see-
tornado.
No,
what
I don't
does it
see
look
a
like?
logo. I see a white man with one big ear.
Wow.
At the top right.
He could be Argentinian. Argentinian, a very
The buffalo
fair skin.
next to the clouds.
Incredible.
Hold on, let me see.
And
It's a buffalo
they
storm.
picked a very
Wow.
Native American animal.
Right. And,
fuck with
so
it.
ULM, a lot of schools.
Yeah,
did
you
that.
can't
So
be a bison. There's so many
ULM was the
bisons.
Warhawks.
That was
Changed
the
the name to
point.
the Warhawks.
I'm just saying they
Oh, yeah.
clearly didn't get away from their
Right. Louisiana
Roots.
Monroe
Thematic.
changed their name to the Warhawks. Miami of Ohio changed their name to the Red Hawks. Arkansas State became the Red Wolves. That's different. But that's what they do. They want to keep that same
In the
motif.
same brand, yeah.
Yeah, because like the Seminoles, like Florida State, when they were like, you got to change your name. The Seminole tribe was like, no, that's our name. And they're like, yeah, but it's offending you. They're like, who, nigga? Like, you didn't ask. Like,
Now we think it's
no,
dope.
you good, bro.
Yeah.
Like, But yeah, that was just a little cool fun fact there. But like, just keep to going back, getting back on topic. Now that you've got a little fun fact in your life as far as that goes. So one of the things I kind of want to highlight is how crazy it is that two Bulls players had murdered parents.
Yeah,
I
Steve
didn't
Kerr,
know
Michael
who
Jordan.
Steve Kerr was.
What?
How are you guys even surprised?
no.
Hold on. How are you guys surprised?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, this
That's
man
fair.
only
I made it
knew
very
Boogie
clear.
Cousins for 4
I
years.
like
That's right.
The
That's fair.
dinosaur team.
Fair.
So I have apparently heard because I wasn't shocked when I heard the name. I'm like, oh, that sounds like if somebody said Steve Kerr, I'm like,
Sounds familiar.
Fun fact: his son's name is Nicholas. So
Nicholas Kerr.
Nick Kerr is the best.
Oh no, Steve.
No, he probably doesn't go by
Steve.
Nick.
No,
I know what you-
He
I know.
He plays college basketball. So last year, that's how they knew.
You said remember,
Right.
like I
sorry.
knew that to
Last
begin
year-
with.
so
I would
last year,
only go
they-
as Nicholas.
Last year they do was raining buckets, and every time he rained a bucket, they're like, "Yeah, Nicker, do your thing." And I was
Oh
like,
no.
"Oh no!"
Oh
Excellent.
man.
But what a ride that on a bringing it back down. That's
if you had to
crazy.
pick which one was worse,
I personally, I'd have seen Kerr's was
Thank you.
worse.
That's what I was
like
thinking.
he like imagine
He was
going out
trying
there
to
to
do
do your
something
best,
good, he
right? To
just
go out there,
wasn't sleeping.
and again, I'm not saying anything negative about Jordan's dad or whatever.
Oh, no,
but
no,
I'm
no.
saying like he went out there
He
to
was
say,
sleeping.
hey, we're going to change. We're going to he's executing excellence in every facet. Like that takes a lot, especially because he got there and his predecessor
had just been
murdered.
kidnapped.
Yeah,
no,
I
no, no,
would've
no.
been. Or
No, no, no.
kidnapped.
They had not said. They said he was taken,
I would have gotten
and
right
we still
back.
don't know where he is.
Yeah.
But hey, we're gonna give you this job because
Yeah,
we're
I
pretty
would
sure
have
he's
said,
not coming
hey,
back.
I'm getting the fuck out. And
Hey, by the way, your boss was
I
captured.
still want my check.
It's been 3 days.
Run me my check.
We don't
for
know
coming
where
out
he
here.
is, and ain't nobody said nothing.
Right. Right.
But you gonna take his spot? I've been like,
But
hell no,
Hell no,
I'm not.
no sir. I'd be like, no, let's not do that. But
And
the
his
fact that-
fucking family moved out there with
Yeah,
him, and
that's
then he
crazy.
died like immediately
that's
after.
wild. That's what I say. That to me is that's
That's
I
rough.
can it's tough, bro. That's Tough.
Also, I wish there was video
TUFF.
footage of Michael.
what?
No. I didn't get to finish my sentence. Yes, I wish we got to see Steve Kerr's dad execute.
Please, hey, cut that right.
Whoa,
cut that right. Whoa, cut
what?
that right. I know you said it as a joke, but hey, that's how you get canceled.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
only you
careful,
get.
white
You only
people
get.
take-
good thing this
canceled.
fucking
You
camera turned
only
off.
get-
Yeah,
Did it really turn off again?
yeah,
Turn
it
off
did.
again.
We're just gonna have to scrap it.
Yeah,
We're
fuck,
just
we're gonna
have
scrap
to-
this whole
We'll have
fucking
to
3
figure-
minutes here.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna look into
Go
a
turn
thing
it back on. Though.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No,
luckily
but why?
for you, go turn it back on.
You don't want to turn on the
can
camera?
splice it. You can put Tom on it. You can put the Tom.
Yeah, you can
little
splice this-
Tom meme
yeah.
on there. We can
You're
put this
splicing
on
all of
YouTube.
this,
Hey,
in fact.
go do that. Right?
Okay, but I'm gonna finish what I'm saying.
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
I
3,
don't want to
2,
ever see
1,
him
back in.
fucking. No, I'm not cutting any of that. I'm leaving all of that in. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
you
man.
can tell by the way
We
I
are
said
canceled
it.
after episode 2,
I'm
my
the
nigga.
one
It's
not getting
over.
canceled.
I'm the one.
That nigga get canceled.
I'm the one editing it. I'm not gonna give us a thumbnail of like, I wish I saw his dad killed. Like, I'm not.
Listen.
I'm
So we
peppering
went
that
from
in.
talking about
No.
Nick Kerr to fucking watching
I'm
someone's
peppering
murder.
that in throughout the whole time, and like, I wish I saw Steve Kerr's dad die. Like, I'm gonna throw that
Oh
in.
my
What I meant to say is,
God.
I wish there was video footage of Michael Jordan punching Steve Kerr in the face. That's
Oh,
exactly-
okay.
That's what I was
All right.
trying to
Oh,
say.
yeah, no
Y'all
doubt.
turned it into.
No, nigga,
Ooh,
you could have.
nigga.
I want to watch people die.
You took the ball and you ran at the stadium. Bro.
Yeah,
Have
son.
you ever seen Faces of Death though? No?
No.
Okay, it's a video. They don't really let you run unless you're 18. but
Okay,
sometimes
well,
if
I'm
you
not
know
going to do
people-
that. I'm going to continue to not.
So
watch it.
one of the memorable moments in the documentary, one of the memorable moments that stuck out in the documentary, I can speak, I promise. To me was in the middle of the documentary when he talks about leaving and the burnout, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Nigga.
man, I related to that too damn much.
Bro.
Not to the Mike. Not to the level that you did because you that nigga, but in general.
Who? Michael Jordan. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They talking about
yeah,
me. I was
you-
like, come on,
you
man.
ain't that nigga, you cool.
you mediocre,
You
nigga. What are you talking about?
Average guy. But in general, like. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like like dude, I've been there, man. Like not only just in sports, I'm talking about because remember his job was a sport, so you got to take it the same as a job,
Right.
Like but my job is done in silence. I couldn't imagine. Every time you walk out, you can't walk out the house. I couldn't
Right.
imagine, bro. Like some of those scenes, and I know obviously it's editing, it's things of that nature, but
Right.
I couldn't imagine like he's sitting down on a bench and the entire gym
It's like 100
is
niggas around
and
him.
they on him, bro. Like
Yep.
I couldn't do that every day.
And they're trying to get a sound bite. That's the thing that sucks.
And they're
I-
trying to catch him slipping.
Right, exactly.
I couldn't imagine, like, bro. It's bad enough. Like, I hate when rappers are like, bro, you got snakes in the garden, whatever. This dude literally had people questioning whether his gambling, not even. I agree. I gotta agree with him. He did not. That's how you can tell. I say this all the time. That you can tell people aren't about that life. Like they've never been good at
Right.
anything or never have been competitive.
Right.
For the fact that, and if you've got
It's
a
so
gambling, if you got a
disrespectful.
gambling problem, if you got a gambling addiction, hey, you go get your help. You do what you
Yep.
do. I'm not talking to you. If you want to be offended, come to the comments. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is, for them to say, "Oh, do you have a gambling problem?" No, I have a competition problem.
Right.
I like to compete.
Yeah.
But the equivalent of
And he
$1
likes steaks.
But right, hold on. That's what I'm saying. Like, so if you've got $10 million in your pocket and you want to bet 10,000, that's the same as
That's
if you had
nothing.
5 on you
Yep.
and you bet a quarter. Like,
Right.
okay. Like, and
Right.
bro, he playing with money we can't imagine.
It's the thing that we were talking about before is perspective, right?
Right.
So you're having someone who has no privacy, right? Who's been living in the public eye for, not forever,
Since
but
20.
Yeah,
Like
since he was
20,
20.
22,
And he
20.
happens to enjoy fucking drinking. We all have vices, right? And that's the thing that really pisses me off about all this shit.
And we on it right now. All right.
Right.
You can see if
We
you're watching on
drinking right
YouTube.
now. You already know.
If you're watching on YouTube, this is Flint, Michigan adult-based beverages. And
You know, the more I've thought about it really quick, is it offensive to keep referring?
Yep.
Don't even do it. No, I wouldn't even
Not
do
for
it.
me.
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for us. For you.
I wouldn't even put that
But
out
not
there.
for us.
Yeah.
We good, bro.
I didn't cause the situation in
Yeah,
Flint.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, we can say what we want to. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my God.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, that's right.
Anyway,
I'm
so I
gonna
was
refer
talking.
to my experts to my left and to in front of me.
I'm gonna, man, bro. Anyway, so Xavier, just to kind of get you back in the game, we're talking about how people were being really disrespectful to Michael Jordan, questioning his character, talking about his addiction, quote unquote addiction to gambling, and we were kind of talking about he was very unfairly judged. But again, like we were talking about before, is perspective. So when you hear $10,000 or $50,000 or that somebody owes somebody $1 million, that's absurd to you. Because you know what? We've never even seen that amount of money.
No, I never will.
Probably never will. No, fuck, this is gonna take off, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what y'all say.
fair.
So we
I'll
gonna
still
make
never
it.
see it.
Yeah.
I'm saying right now, if we ever make and there's $10,000 in a joint bank, I'm going to take it out and we're going to put it out in ones like Cartman on that episode of
that's
South
fair.
Park.
I'm gonna wrap it around my cock too. You ever wrap $10,000 around your cock? I've never had, but I'm going to.
But right,
Yeah.
I bet you it's an experience.
But to bring it back, but the fact that you have somebody who's made it very, very clear that his number one priority is to be the best and to be the best at what he does in his craft, and to someone to question your character when you've been nothing but great, right? Trying to be a role model, trying to do your best, being an example, being in the public light like he is, and
Look
then
at
to
what
say,
people are doing to Trump right now.
no, yeah, ooh, wow, did you just compare Michael Jordan to Donald Trump,
That
bro?
was-
You
that
are
about to get-
bugging today. MAGA Zavy 2020. You better watch
Title
out.
this video, Zavy gets canceled.
Zavy gets canceled.
I just want to
2020.
say really quick, again, since I'm editing it, that was a joke. I might even bleep myself on the
That's fair,
neighbor.
bro.
Yeah, you need to.
It'll
You
be
need
just
to.
really long.
Yeah.
Like my
Everyone's giving
neighbor
Donald
did.
Trump so much crap when he's just doing his absolute best. I don't understand why he's
Everybody
getting so
keeps
much
getting mad at my
criticism.
neighbor.
Neighbor Donald Trump. Anyways.
Like, damn, what word was it? But yeah, throwing it back.
Oh man, that's totally a Corona cough. Anyways, so they're super disrespectful to him, and it's definitely not okay. All he's trying to do is be a role model, and something that really stuck out to me is that we are so quick as a society to judge people's faults or
live
to
in a
talk
society.
shit. We do live in a society to talk shit about people when we don't even know them. And to quote the great the baby DABABY.
Ooh, I'm glad you.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna slip up.
No,
there,
no,
bro.
I almost spelled the
that space-
band. I almost spelled the band DABAND. Shout out to P Diddy
I was
Combs.
about to say it.
I almost said it.
Who does not endorse our podcast?
He doesn't, but he need to pay me, nigga.
Yes.
Damn, I need money. Fuck.
You need that. I open up the studio.
Please. Nah, shutting down the
I
studio.
want to be on making the band.
Making the band. Making the cast. We're gonna start it. We're gonna do it. Yo, can we make that? That's shit, son.
man.
I'm cut before we start. Let's be very
Uncut.
clear
Are
about
we
that.
talking about penises now? What are we doing?
Oh, yeesh.
Anyways, so we're so quick
No,
to.
we got the hood off the Maybach.
Now we got the hood still.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyways,
I don't
so
have a Maybach.
damn, my nigga don't have a schmeat. What's going on here? We talking about dicks, by the way. We're talking about dicks. Back to Michael Jordan. We're so quick to talk shit about people, especially when everybody that's talking shit, man, they all got skeletons in the closet. They all got shit they're dealing with, and to want and for just to make a buck, and fuck, capitalism is number one. Fuck it, like we all trying to do our thing, right? We're all trying to make it, and if it's dragging someone down to do it, it seems to be the way that's acceptable. But you can't, in the same light, talk about how shitty of a teammate that man was, or how shitty he was, and blah 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 blah, and then also want to talk about all his personal shit, and then you also have all the shit that you're doing, right?
Well, they've got the convenience of anonymity. So honestly,
nobody cares about them.
So, right, it's that. So to Xavier, you missed a little bit about that. Well, we were, he caught you up, but to kind of expand on that a little bit, as they're talking about. We're talking about this dude's life is always in the public eye, and it's got to be insane that this dude's dad got murdered, and the first thing some of these dudes said was, maybe Jordan's gambling addiction did it. Instead
No. That's not the first thing. The first thing they said is Jordan did, he was a part of it. Did y'all see that? It said that is Jordan part of his dad's
right,
murder?
but they don't. I don't think they mean as in he had his dad
Like he was an
killed.
accomplice,
They're saying
no.
they were
His
saying
actions
his
led to
actions
his
in
murder.
general had to do with it. But that's what I'm saying.
I think I like my way
the thing
better
that-
'cause
right.
that's more
Well, that's an
conspiracy.
interpretation.
Well, that's you would
issue.
totally get paid in the 90s. If
Right,
you wrote
so
that.
that's what. So
Yeah.
that honestly, right. So your interpretation of that
What
of
he owes
that
somebody,
article,
a liver?
right? But what I'm saying, it doesn't matter what he would have owed them because he would have paid them,
Right.
Because he was rich. But what I'm saying is that's the theory of anonymity for I couldn't imagine doing my job and then going home from my job, and then people still want me to slip up. Mm-hmm. I get it. I understand. As a fan of things, when I'm watching a football game or a basketball game and my team is playing, I am totally fine with them not being the better team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally fine with the other team not playing well.
I'm going to ask a question. real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have happened the same way if he were white?
No, absolutely
They
not.
brought up multiple times how. I mean, which first?
Oh,
off,
yeah, no.
real quick,
Oh,
real
you
quick.
mean like what he
when
had
they
to
brought
say-
Obama on the first time, and it did not say President Barack Obama, and then it just said Barack Obama, a former Chicago resident. I laughed. I just stopped. I just
think
stopped.
that's the best.
It was
Respectful.
great.
Yeah,
Then-
I fuck with
then-
heavy.
Yeah, they're like, he's just a
Then
nigga
Bill
from Chicago.
Clinton, but Bill Clinton got former governor of Arkansas.
Yeah, because he was the former governor.
Yeah, you gotta. They try to tie it back to how it relates to them,
Wasn't
right?
Obama like politics in Chicago or Illinois?
But, wait, hold on, Hunter.
Not during the time.
But no. Here's even the thing.
Ah,
Yeah.
Right. Remember,
so
he
he
said
was
he was
only a resident in Chicago.
Right. Remember,
Correct.
he was about to
He
start
wasn't in
going
politics.
into
That
law and
kinda
stuff like that when
ruins-
that happened. No, that's
Right.
fine.
That ruins
the narrative.
it ruins
The
the funny
hilarity,
for me.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It ruins your
That
narrative.
he's
Yeah.
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 Oh, you guys fucking. All right. Well, it wasn't funny.
No.
It was just relative.
Well, no, honestly, but that's actually
It's all
pretty
good.
pertinent to what you're saying. You're
Right.
But
saying
anyway,
that-
they were bringing up multiple times how that's what Obama was talking about was especially when somebody of color makes it or does something, everybody's wanting to see them slip more. And
Right.
then you think about it, you got to think, and I'll just say Tom Brady because
Is he the white?
it's 2020. No, because he's considered the greatest quarterback of all
Oh, yeah,
time.
yeah, no doubt.
You know
However,
what?
at-
No
hold
one
on.
questions Tom Brady's character.
That's what I'm saying. At no point they've called him a bitch before and like pussy whipped
Yeah.
and shit. But I mean,
Sure.
it's a Victoria's Secret model and all that shit. But not one person has ever brought up any kind of thing that Tom Brady does, and he's considered the greatest football player of all time.
because well, right. So sensationalism sells. So, like, remember, there's a quarterback on a team that plays in the AFC, and they wear black and yellow, who may have done a little struggle snuggle to a person, and that was a big story for a long time.
I need so much more information because I
He's talking about Big Ben. Big Ben.
struggle.
Don't come and get me. No.
Yeah.
Oh my
He
god!
got yeah.
Stop! I got You just gotta wait a minute.
He's like,
'cause
I'm
now
getting
I know
there.
what's happening. But struggle snuggle.
We are not laughing.
That's not funny.
Yes,
with
this is
what
not
it
a-
means. But I love alliterations
Nigga, I'm
and
dying.
things that
So,
Nigga, I'm dying right now.
struggle
they may
snuggle.
have struggle snuggled a little
Oh my
a
God,
person,
I'm kidding.
and that was a huge narrative at the time, and it's still a big part.
And
of
he's
that.
still in the
And he's still
NFL.
in the NFL.
And he's still great.
But in general, here's the thing that you got to kind of understand.
That's way
about
worse
sports.
than gambling.
Let's
though.
talk about
I
Ray
don't know if
Rice.
that's
Hold on,
the-
hold on, right, and
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
But so also, but hold on. For every Ray Rice, there's a Ray Lewis. Like that nigga might have murdered
Oh,
somebody.
hold on.
Cool
Do
with
not
that.
talk about the GOAT,
But I'm
Ray
just
Lewis,
saying
the
that
greatest.
May have
my hero, Ray
Ray
Lewis.
may
Rice.
have deleted a person, and
No, he paid somebody to take care of this. Difference, bro.
This ain't no Carol
It is
Baskin
different.
shit, bro. Stop.
Carol
Right.
fucking Baskin.
That
But yeah,
bitch,
so-
Carol Baskin.
so the problem with narratives in general, and again, I might be talking out of pocket, but
Right.
to answer your question, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal if he were white because. But so you got like Taylor Lautner. You don't know who that is. I know you don't. I'm not saying that in a rude way.
I know who Taylor
he played for
Lautner is.
Duke. He like one of his
Ooh.
big.
I think you're talking
he's
about
not
like
the dude from fucking Twilight.
nigga. That's what I thought too.
I
like,
don't
wait,
mean Taylor
the-
Lautner. I mean,
I was like,
wowzers.
I was like Team Jacob.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. You talking about the werewolf, nigga? What's going on, bro?
That's not.
He got fat.
Whoa, what's wrong with being fat, bro?
Reggie.
No,
He got Reggie.
He got Reggie.
He got
no,
big
he looked
Reggie.
like me, and I wouldn't call me Reggie.
So
There's a difference between big
Hold on,
and
hold on.
fat, Lenny.
Real
First
quick.
off,
yeah,
just so you know.
Well, I would know because I am currently fat.
You
I don't know.
Laettner.
Yeah. Wow. What is the difference? Are you saying that I'm beyond fat? Is that what you're
Christian
implying?
Laettner, sorry, is the person I'm thinking of. Not Taylor Lautner.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. But Christian Laettner, he played
Like
for
he
Duke.
pointed at me, I'm like, I know
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
who
He
that
played
is.
for
What did he
Duke.
do?
And one of the big narratives around
The electric company?
Christian Laettner was that he was a rich kid. He was a jerk. Like he went to Duke, which obviously is that's the white school in North Carolina. You know, that's just if you got money, you go there. But then
Yeah.
you look at his documentary.
The Devils are
and
white on their logo.
Devil's blue.
They call it the Blue Devil, but the Devil is white. It's blue
got a
background,
white
white
face.
Oh,
Devil.
yeah, you got blue and white. Okay, that's fair. Oh yeah, that's fine. Right. So it would have been
My dad
weird.
really
It would
liked
have
Duke,
honestly
so I
been
kinda
super
know, like-
weird if they had
Yikes.
made the devil black. Honestly, that
Whoa.
would have been racist. For
Yeah,
some
that would've
reason.
been awful.
I feel the racism from that.
Yeah,
but,
I'm
yeah.
offended.
So
Ace Ventura.
Christian Laettner, like the whole aura over him was that he was a dick. He was rich. He was out there. Basically, he was everything wrong with college
Yeah.
sports. Then you watch his documentary, and he was teammates with Grant Hill. Grant Hill's dad
was former NBA player, had money, sent him to Duke for. I mean, had all that money. Chris Laettner was from a blue collar family.
I think I know the name.
He had to. Yeah, you do. Yeah,
He was a great Piston.
yeah, he was a great. Yeah, he's one of the greats.
But he was in the show though, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
They talked about he was teammates
Right,
with.
he's one of the greats. But yeah, so like
Ah.
Chris Laettner, yeah. So
I paid
Laettner was
attention
one
to
of
the
his
show, though,
teammates.
guys. Yeah.
And like he was the rich one. He was the dude who came from everything.
Yeah.
And so narratives are important because it helps. I hate to say it helps humanize a certain person, but this sucks for Jordan because like instead of them just being like, oh maybe his dad was just caught up. They were
Right.
like, it could have been because some black
Or
people
how
don't like
how
stuff.
big of a fucking tragedy it was.
Right.
And just leave it at
They were
that.
worried about some
not-
other stuff. And
Exactly.
do I think it would have been as big deal if you were white? No, obviously.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun. It's not fun to you have to have something that cuts the grain. Like
Yeah.
even now, like when you watch the draft, I know it's a big meme now, but when you watch the draft, it's always with the 4th pick in the NFL draft, Tyquicius Jones. Speaking of 4, that's how many brothers all shot each other on the street during the drug deal. I'm like, why do I need to know that?
Nigga, this draft was the worst with that,
Bro.
dude. I was like, wow. Like, who was the guy that they had like a literal stat was his mama was
beat drugs?
Yeah, beat drugs and got out of jail.
And I'm like,
I was like, what
I
the
don't need to know
fuck?
that.
I think
No, it's
that-
nobody's
hold on, hold on.
business.
You know what I
Yeah.
think it is? Hold on. You know what I think? And this is we should do a segment called White Perspective. This is what I think they are trying to do because it's white people that set that shit up, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to show
That black people are people too?
how much shit that person
They've
has
gone through.
overcome.
Yeah. Right.
And they're here to make a statement now. Even though if a white person had gone through the same thing, they wouldn't have said that.
Right.
They'd have been like, they had to eat off-brand cereal one time.
He said fruit rounds.
They have both their mother and
What's
father
a-
and 2 siblings that live in a ranch with
Did
2.
you know
Right, and
their
I think
parents
that
got
would've been-
divorced, but both parents
Honestly,
remarried
hey.
and they got an excellent Christmas?
People in sport,
Nigga.
hey, people out there, sports peoples at ESPN and CBS. I want to start hearing about that. If a nigga gets drafted, I want to hear everything in his life is just doing all right.
I'll be offended. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like, "What? Where's the turmoil that makes him great? That everybody
No, bro.
assumes
That's what
it's
I
the
want.
struggle. The
That's
struggle is
how
what
you
makes
know-
great
That's
athletes."
how you know when we've hit true equality, when they
Right.
don't sit there and try to tell you
That's
about
what I
any
want.
person of
Right.
color's upbringing
I want
other
them to
than
just
like,
be like,
his dad
yeah,
did a
so-
really good job
Yeah.
raising him and always came back after he
You
bought
know what?
milk.
I will say this is when they drafted fucking R.J. Barrett, they did highlight that.
Did they?
They did highlight. They said like this man. They said this man's father. But now hear this: his father is a commission of Canadian basketball or some shit like that. Or like it's fucking crazy.
That's not the Lingerie
No,
Football League.
I mean,
no, it's
that's
not.
cool, though.
But the fact that they made it mention like they made it sound like he was
dude's
privileged.
dad's here.
Yeah,
Right.
but not only that, but they made it sound like he was very, very privileged. Like they made it a point to put that out, which I thought was kind of
Equality.
weird. But at the same time, like I think it's only weird.
Not privileged, he normal.
Right, no, exactly.
was
But
the narrative
but that's
that
the
they
point
gave.
that I'm trying to say is that they're trying to say like, hey, this person had a regular life, but the way that they presented it made it sound like he was very privileged. You see what I'm saying? Like this
So they try
person.
to make it negative that he didn't come from the struggle.
Exactly how they present it. But I will say, like his father, like it was great to see like that moment with him and his dad, and say like, hey, he had a great upbringing and stuff like that. It was
That's
fantastic.
The greatest thing about man, that's a little bit deep. I know we
Yeah,
said we weren't going to get
let's
heavy on
actually
this.
let's just
no,
wrap.
no,
it.
yeah,
You know what?
No,
No, go there. Let's go
Right,
there.
so I'm
Yeah,
saying,
fuck
like,
it. Fuck the time. Fuck you, Xavier.
Right, the thing in general
I didn't
about
say we had to wrap it up at all.
do you want? This is how you can tell that I have my own personal biases and forethoughts. Since I
So your person, continue.
right, I legitimately didn't know that that Jordan's dad and mom were both in his life because I just expect all sports
Single
Did you
mom.
not watch Space Jam? I cannot stress enough how much Space Jam mirrored Jordan's entire life. His dad was there. He's like, time to go to bed, son. He's like, Dad, I just want to shoot a few more baskets. And his dad's like, you know what? I know it's dark and shit's wild, but go ahead. You shoot a few more.
I don't remember that line, but
You shoot a few more baskets there, son. He's like, I'm going to be the greatest player in the world. And then all of a sudden,
He's the greatest player.
he's
in
the
world.
greatest player in the world. And
get
he's
it.
doing golf with Larry Bird and Bill Murray.
I get it, but yeah, like that's one of the things that again, also Scottie Pippen, even though his dad, he had both his parents, man. Like it's a
His dad could have.
Yeesh.
So one thing I do want to talk about the documentary is that it does show. I do like that it shows there's a few things the documentary did very well. It talked about how you got to go on the ride with Jordan and kind of him going through greatness.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of got to see a lot of like the challenges that he personally overcame, because I think a lot of us kind of, at least I didn't come up in the 90s, right? So a lot of the old heads are like, nigga, I been told you, nigga, Jordan was the motherfucker. Jordan been out there, been doing a damn thing. He out there scoring on niggas, fucking doing all the twos. And no, that is one thing, is that I saw some stats about Jordan. One stat I did see about Jordan is that he's the complete opposite of what the NBA is right now. Yeah. My man ate mid-range. He ate the mid-range. He drove.
So that's one of the things that I said at the beginning before we started the show today. One of the things that the cool thing about this documentary is I know I'm old, not old as in like old.
You're in between.
I'm in between because that's the type of I hate modern sports.
I do too.
I get it's more exciting. I get what they're saying. It's not a niche anymore.
No, fuck that exciting shit.
No,
I want the grit.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not a niche anymore. So the reason why old sports was so good is because, like, man, like when the old Pistons, bro, like I felt when they overcame the Pistons, bro.
Yep.
I was like, imagine somebody physically, literally. I'm not talking about like morally or metaphorically throwing you to the ground. And these dudes were putting hands on these guys.
Yep.
They said, if you come in here,
it's a fight.
It's a fight. You're not walking out.
In all
the same
fairness, I
person.
think Detroit would do the same thing now if they could.
If they could, that's the problem. It's today's like.
Every single team had a personality back then.
Right, but even
now they don't. It's all washed.
Everything's cookie cutter. Everything. Shoot a bunch of threes. 7-footers. Like, there's no point to having a center now.
Nope.
Centers, you have to be a minimum of 7 feet tall just to be a guard.
Yep.
Because 7-footers can shoot. Like, the reason why Zion. So Zion is kind of.
He's an enigma, but he's a fucking small
really
forward any other time, another time period.
Really quick though, because it's something that I haven't really understood. Why until now could big guys not shoot a three-pointer?
So it
when
wasn't
physics
a skill
would
set
dictate.
it's a skill set that wasn't necessary. So
yes.
In the old sports, so now that sports has gone, like, look. So also one thing I did make a note of,
the hand checks definitely made a big difference.
So I'm gonna interrupt myself. That I think the funniest thing during that entire documentary is that I watched in real time as they gave Jordan a foul before contact was made with him. And if you don't believe me, we can watch it now, or we can go back and watch it. There's an episode where they're playing the Suns. Like, they're playing Barkley and the Suns, and literally Jordan hadn't even gone up to shoot yet, and they gave him the foul. So that's offensive. But that's actually how modern basketball is now.
Like, Jordan took the foul, or he received it?
Jordan was driving.
They assumed that foul was going to happen.
Barkley was standing still. And Jordan went up, and they went beep, and then he went clunk after he. So they hadn't even.
They anticipated the foul.
Yet.
Did he foul him though?
Technically, it should have been a charge.
Ooh.
Because Barkley was standing still.
Mm-hmm.
But
Barkley got the foul was on Barkley.
Correct. But it should be a charge because the person who, if you're standing still and someone hits you, it's on them. If you're moving and they're moving, it's on you.
Yeah. No, I know how charges work.
Right.
But what if Jordan was in the air though?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that would be a foul.
Barkley was standing still. Jordan jumped.
He was probably standing there because he didn't know what was going on.
But no, he didn't. You can see what he moved into the lane and then stood still.
I love listening
Once you
to
stop
modern
moving,
day Charles
it's a charge.
Barkley talk about anything.
Yeah, so when you watch, when you were tall back then, because it was such a physical game, rebounds and stuff like that were important. But the game has shifted so far behind the arc because you can literally look at somebody and you get a foul. James Harden is one of the biggest, the most egregious operators of this, where he's also left-handed. So as other left-handed people know, like when you're playing people who are right-handed, when a left-handed person is going up, a right-handed person is going to swing out this way. So one of the things he knows to do is he just throws his arm up because he'll get a foul because right-handed people have to slap this way instead of the opposite way.
Right.
So he knows that if he just puts his hand in the air, you're gonna have to run into it.
Right.
But he plays the system. He says it doesn't matter if he's the only person. I think one game he had two made baskets, two made field goals, 37 points. He shot 17
free throws.
Still
Jesus.
got no rings.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is but that's how basketball. So
that's so the game has changed.
They also don't care about defense anymore. They just literally care about
correct.
who
But that's because
because
exactly.
they're rewarded for their ability.
That's
to
why
score
when you bet
over.
the under, you win $400.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. Right, so that's what I'm saying. So Zion, watching Zion play basketball now is kind of weird because he's literally doing the exact opposite. So I think sports is cyclical, where right now, the
So
reason
the
why Derrick
90s are
Henry-
back in, so you're saying we're about to hit 90s sports
while
again?
That'd be great.
So Derrick Henry is such an incredible running back to watch.
Yeah,
because he's like
because he's-
260 pounds.
He's like the bus.
and he's this bus.
Right.
But defenses have gotten so smaller
Right.
to account for how
How
faster
fast, exactly.
the game is. As that, who wants to tackle a 260-pound running back
Exactly.
for 3 quarters, bro?
Nobody.
Like when they played the Ravens, they're like, there's no way the Ravens are going to be able to. No, even they were like, this is too much. I can't do this for 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then they were like, oh, how long do we have to hold on the ball? 6 minutes? I can do that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
because the you know, obviously then they ran into the Chiefs. Who were like, sure, we only need 15 seconds to score.
Right.
So you can hold on to the ball for
However long you want.
however you want. It just
Right.
takes us 15 seconds to score. But so that it was a bad matchup. But yeah, so you know, watching old basketball makes me yearn for old sports where people
Right.
put like I legitimately believe that the only like the Seahawks from the Earl Thomas, you know,
Marshawn Lynch?
Richard Sherman.
Yeah, Richard Sherman. Yeah, those years.
Legion
they
of
couldn't-
Boom.
The Legion of Boom. Even although that was in 2012,
Yeah.
2013, couldn't happen now.
No.
Because the way they made the rules is that Earl Thomas killing a guy is a penalty.
Right.
In all fairness, though, they're really worried that everybody's going to turn into like mush brain.
No. Hold on. So I'm glad that you're saying that because this is
That's
this
not
is what
it.
the
They don't care
problem
about
is.
safety.
There's two
They care
things.
about points.
No, not even that. See, here's the thing. So there's 2 things. There's one, people have noticed, like, hey, you know what? Athletes are getting fucked up, right? They're getting fucked up. Like, you. One thing I will say, you see
Well, they
Michael
might
Jordan's
have
fucking
also
fingers?
Been gay.
Did you see what?
What was the Aaron Hernandez thing? Never mind. Continue.
They might have also been gay, either hurt or gay. What are you saying,
that like
No,
being gay
I
is a
was
side
saying-
effect of football?
bro? What are you talking about, bro?
Are you saying? Hold on,
Nope.
you saying that being gay is a side effect of head trauma?
No.
Yo, what is
I
going on?
said-
Yo, you are getting canceled, bro. I'm telling you.
You know what the worst
Yo,
part is?
you're gonna throw this
Is
whole
that if
podcast away.
If they cancel me, they kind of cancel you guys. And
No,
you
no,
keep
they're
putting
canceling
words in
you,
my mouth.
nigga.
They
You
keep
by
putting-
yourself.
You keep putting words in my mouth when really you were just
What
saying
you
their brains turned to mush
mean?
and they're angry all the time. And then I was referencing the Aaron Hernandez document where like he was mad because he was secretly gay, but y'all turned it into
Because
something
of the
different.
head trauma? What are you talking?
I
Also-
never said it was because of the head trauma. I just
Also,
said that
I just want to point
I
out.
hate you. I hope to God that people can see your face in the video and know that you're trolling because it makes me sound like a complete dick when I know you know exactly what
No,
I'm saying.
Xavier, I will say
sure what
this:
he's-
liking dick from once in a while does not make you gay. If you look up the exact definition of what it means to be gay, it is to be romantically and physically attracted to a man. You can actually suck a dick right now and it not make you gay. You just like sucking dick sometimes. This is what it is. I'm not saying. Hold on, let me finish. Do not cut me off here. Does not mean that I personally like sucking dick. It doesn't even like that I like dick in any sort of manner. All I'm saying is that I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality to understand that if a nigga want to suck dick sometimes, or you know what, play with a dick a little bit here and there, I won't necessarily immediately assume that he's gay. I'll say, hey,
know,
bro,
that's fair.
do you like
All right.
playing with dick?
Okay,
Do you like sucking dick?
that is
Or do you
not-
like men? Because that's 2 different things.
fair.
That's not what I was saying.
But I'm just
Based
pointing
on
it
that,
out.
he's
So
just-
in case everyone needs to understand that
I don't
sucking
care.
dick sometimes is not gay.
No, that's fair.
Loving men is gay.
I don't even care
yeah,
what the
yeah.
technical definition of gay
But,
is.
okay, well,
I
hold on,
was
hold on.
I just want to make sure you understand
saying
that.
what the documentary said.
Hold
No, because I think that
Loving
Aaron
your
Hernandez
homies.
is also like dick sometimes. That's not necessarily that means
Loving
he's
your
gay.
Homies is not gay.
That's homosexual. Yeah,
Right. I just want to say.
yeah, facts.
I was repeating a documentary. It got
No,
really
that's fair,
turned into
man.
something completely different that I didn't say. I repeated something I heard.
I'm not sure we misconstrued anything.
No. I was just clear. I just need more
100%.
clarification. But back to the documentary. So
What's
let's,
that meme where you're slowly putting on the clown makeup? And
nigga, that's me 24/7. I gotta stay clowning.
you sit there, think something's funny.
But back to
keeps
what we
talking. Doesn't understand that nobody thinks it's funny. Sitting in the podcast, and I've got the wig and the nose and everything on.
But continue on your point. You said you were talking about 2 things.
Oh, wrong with
People
sports.
getting hurt, points,
Yes,
something.
people are getting hurt, and it's a liability to owners, right? So they're paying these athletes all this money for their well-being, essentially, right? Because you need that person to be performing well. That's one thing. So they start saying, "Hey, you know what? My athletes are getting hurt. Their fucking fingers are fucking look like a wet
They're
noodle,
gnarled. They
nigga."
look like tree roots.
I didn't realize you could play
Football
with so much
players
tape
are the
on your
worst. You've
hand.
seen an old football player, nigga? They look like Edward Scissorhands.
Have you? Oh no, just watch a go to ESPN. ESPN.
Or watch
right
the
now
bus
and
walk.
Watch Charles Barkley, Shaq, or any of those guys walk.
Oh, nigga.
They're not even walking.
Right?
bro.
Yeah,
Look
no,
at
it's
Chael
awful.
Sonnen's ears.
But that's
No,
one
bro,
thing.
That's fine.
Yeah, cauliflower is not a big
That's
deal.
Nothing, bro.
But
grosser to look at than somebody.
whoa, that's disrespect.
Okay,
Have you? You're
and, like,
throwing
would you
up
rather have-
W's
would
with
you-
your hands.
Right, would you not rather? Right. So would you rather have a weird looking ear, or every time you walk you bleed a little bit?
Which one do I got to look at?
Damn, nigga.
But you know what? Hey, each their own.
If I got to look in the mirror and I see my ears look like that versus I know I got to bring an extra tissue with
Say
me when
that,
I walk
but
somewhere.
I get you say that, but if you had physical pain all of the time,
It's the worst, yeah.
If you saw your ear, and
Xavier's
it
like,
weird
God damn
sometimes-
it.
Well, that's what I'm
Calling
saying.
out my privilege
No,
like a
I'm
motherfucker
but
throughout
What
the
I meant to say
entire
is, I
podcast.
can't make a joke without getting
Right.
told it's not a joke.
What are you talking about?
Well, clearly I don't want to bleed when I walk.
Right, but
Answer the question directly, then cockface,
man.
then you wouldn't get the
But
explanation.
why would I do that when I know that?
Niggas like, I don't actually mean what I said. If you just read in between the lines, what are you, a woman? You tell me what you
Bro,
mean.
no.
Oh, I did it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
And anybody with pay
Oh no.
sounds like he's getting canceled.
awesome collide.
Episode 2 canceled.
Do not share the
We just put a
opinion.
stamp. We just put
We
a
are
stamp
turning
over
off
the
the
video
comments.
that just says canceled over the
Nigga.
top of it because of you, not because of me. Because if people
Because of
listen,
me?
they know I'm joking.
Nah, bro.
Nigga, you
You
said
cancel.
a million things. What are you talking about?
But I said it's a joke. You weren't joking. You yelled out, "Are you a woman?"
Oh, hold on. Excuse me. So I can't say you
No.
can't take a joke after the fact like you constantly
no, because
do?
There's even you admitting that you just said something you shouldn't have said. I never said that.
I don't remember.
That's because you look at us like this. Like, I didn't just say that.
I don't remember.
I didn't
any
just say
of
that
this
at all.
happening,
Yeah.
As I was saying. So yeah. So
Oh, so let me wrap this up. I gotta keep
Yeah.
on trying to finish it up. But there's two things. One, obviously, is trying to figure out their investments and making a sound investment. So they have to make they have to do what makes the most sense for the league, right, to become profitable. And two, society now is just is become just everybody being a little bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like the one thing that I can say.
We
Let
live
me
in a
elaborate.
society?
We live in a society, but let me elaborate on
am I
that.
missing
So if you see the NBA now versus the NBA then, and I don't want to say it's a societal problem. I am saying societal problem.
It is.
It is a societal problem. Damn, I really got to think about what I want to say. I don't want to be
All right,
canceled.
so in general,
We
I'll
already got
give you some
canceled. Say
time.
whatever
I'll
you
give
want
you,
at
I'll give
this
you some
point.
time to think. So one of the things that because I'm gonna come around and say like I understand. The worst
Niggas
part
is just so soft.
No.
It's
Right. I will
soft.
say the hardest part about
Enriched
the hardest part about this is actually kind of ties back into what we were talking about last week, where I said like it's you're told that you have to operate a certain way,
Right.
And coming up. Like, if you were like, oh, man, I broke my arm, coach is like, oh, sure, I'll ice that after the game.
Right.
So we were brought up in an era where toughness was indicative of commitment.
When
right?
I played
So-
football, some kid got a concussion. They watched him
Bro,
almost die,
I
and then
was-
they're like, "Bro, can you go back out?" And he goes, "It's Tuesday. Why are we playing
Bro,
football?" Game? And they go, "Oh, bro, what's your name?" And he goes, "I think it is." And then
They put him back out.
they almost put him back
No,
out, and then
no,
the rest
I've
of the team
seen
was
that
like,
happen.
"Hey."
Yeah.
We're
I've
like,
seen that- I've
he
seen that.
literally thought it was 5 days ago, and you asked him his name, and he goes, "I think it is."
So one of the dumbest drills in football
Watching that back on tape
ever,
was great,
the
though.
dumbest drill ever is the Oklahoma drill. It's where everybody stands around. There's one dude in the middle, and then he calls out somebody, and you go and try
Nigga,
to
I
knock
love
him
it.
over. It's
I love it so
the reason why
much.
it's so stupid is because it literally causes brain damage. I
Yeah.
watched a guy in practice get hit so hard. Like he successfully knocked the other guy down, but he got up and then he looked around and he stopped. Like he stopped practice. Like he literally stopped. Like he got hit. He looked around and just stood there. And they're like, "Bro, call out somebody else." And he was like, and he just pointed. And then the other guy knocked him down. And everybody's like, "Ah, bro, you suck. Ah, you got to get up." I was like, "No, he's concussed."
Yeah.
And nobody thought anything. Everybody was just like, "Yeah, that's just football," and that's a big problem.
Yeah.
but I'm unwilling to admit that because I grew up in an era.
Yeah.
So, hold on,
All the
so we're
old
saying-
heads.
so we're
Back in
absolutely
my
saying
day, I used
just
to walk
because-
10 miles with fucking nails on the
So
ground
we're
while it's
saying-
raining and healing, nigga.
Just because we watch people have serious injuries and get told they still had to do shit,
I'm
we
not
hope
able-
that
Doesn't excuse
nobody else gets an easier
So
route.
this
Right.
is honestly,
Yo, that's
hold on.
facts.
Hold on, I'm gonna give you, this is actually my big. This is one of my biggest problems with SJWs, but I know it's a me problem. It's because it's the worst thing I've ever in my life understood is that
SJW is social justice warrior
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
anybody who doesn't know.
In case you
again,
didn't know.
I have a huge problem with them. But it's so funny because the problem I have with them is the point of their existence. So every time I go to my son and I'm like, "Hey, stop watching YouTube. And he freaks out and he's like, you never let me want to do anything. And I'm like, bro, when I was a kid, I had to take a bike and I had to ride the bike with nails up my butt just to go down the street to play at the
My
arcade.
seat fell off.
Like,
I couldn't even sit down. If I wanted to sit down, it hurt.
I ain't have no seat, nigga.
My mom couldn't afford no seat, so I had to take my shoes and sit on my shoes. So I had a comfy bike.
Yo, I
Or
dead
picked
ass had a bike with no seat on it, bro. I'm not lying. I dead ass had a bike with no seat, nigga.
Or you have a bike that the wheels all crooked, but you know it still goes.
They got no chain guard, nigga. You can't wear pants.
It's the back tire and the front tire turns. So as long as the front tire works, I'm good.
But so me worried about in general the the reason why it's so relatable is because like I'm like, you know, they're like, oh man, things should just be free and easy, and I'm like, why? It's never been. I'm like, oh, it has been because the better off we get, the better off I make things for my son, the softer that dude is going to be, and then it's going to come to a point where, but that's the point.
Right.
The point is I
Things
have
should
to
get
do
easier.
the hard
I
stuff.
actually thought about that today though, because like when Oliver
Little
runs
man.
around with his fucking Elsa cape on and he's doing all this theater shit and he loves singing and everything, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy he's doing something he loves, but they're gonna fuck him up in school. And then I'm just like,
You know what? No.
and I'm like, hold on, and I'm just like, you know, maybe he'll be fine. I did like 2 things in school, and people were like, oh, motherfucker, you just, and I was like, I don't know, I just thought it was funny, and they're just like, no, and then he's gonna run to school with high heels on, and be like, that motherfucker gets it,
cool
and he's
it.
gonna be the coolest kid on the face of the
right?
planet.
And so, and that's I think
And
that
it's
should
like,
is
God,
and I think that's a sports issue, and I think that's a sport issue because.
But it's just it's not coinciding with how society is and
right.
sports.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest to get off on that bring that whole tangent around.
Right.
I think that the same way I feel about that is the same way I feel about sports, where I'm like, look, I watched 2 grown men punch each other in the face, bleed all over the place, and someone still had to win.
Yeah.
And that person at the end, and they shook hands. Like
Right.
they literally like, bro, thanks for breaking my teeth.
Yeah.
We walked out with
That's
a
how
dub.
you were taught to handle. Like if
Yeah.
you got real mad, like no joke. I was thinking about, but
Yeah. Don't get mad. Get better.
Right.
it's
That's
not
just
even
what
get,
it
don't
was.
get mad, get better. It's like if somebody's made you so mad that reasoning with them doesn't work, you
But
you punch them once or twice, and then you're like, "Oh fuck, I went too hard."
and then you
because
cool.
and then you good, and then it's done. But you do that now.
but
That's not how it works. You can't
Right.
you can't settle things like that anymore.
But I think
Right.
another problem is because this is their jobs. And I know this sounds super weird, but when I watched sports when I was younger, people weren't making bagillion dollars.
Right.
So they were dudes clocking in and going to work.
Right.
But they were also kind of like doing it because they loved the sport.
Right. And that's what I was
Now
gonna
it's
say.
their job
Exactly.
now.
It's an
so
investment.
They're like, look, it's an investment. Like you were saying earlier, they're like,
Yeah.
look, I'm in a league. I just signed a $20 million contract. I've got to protect that as long as possible.
Right.
Even though that's more money than a human should rightfully see
Right.
for one day of work. It's
Yeah.
just that's their normal. So when we're like, hey, get
you
hurt,
can't
bleed,
love capitalism
bleed
and then
for-
say that.
No, that's I can. I'm saying, so
Don't
He
get
even said
sidetracked.
that was his problem.
Don't get sidetracked.
No, no,
I was being an
right.
asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Oh, he admits it. There he goes.
yeah. But
well,
I'm
it's
saying,
way
get
faster
your-
if I do that than trying to pretend I wasn't.
Right.
And
If
yo,
a-
you
If
cancel.
a system is broken, have you ever played a card game? If there's a card, if the makers of the card
gonna
game
talk about Yu-Gi-Oh now?
create if
Okay.
the creators of a card game create a broken card, it's up to them to ban the card,
Yeah.
not up to me to not use the loop. So if that dude wants to make $20 million, yeah, it's not his fault we have a bad system. Capitalism is the greatest. It's broken also. But yeah, so what I was saying is, yeah, like I get it that when you're watching sport, like I want to see them bleed.
Right. I want the
because
grit.
I bled.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw my heroes bleed. But these younger people have
Jordan literally was almost crying blood in one
Bro,
game. It looked
they,
like.
they,
Yeah.
and they
Can we talk about Bubble Guts game real quick? We're going to a little long.
that's
Do
incredible.
we
My
think
man.
hold on. Do we think that the pizza place did that on purpose?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Spicy. Oh,
Absolutely.
That's fine. So if you're watching this on YouTube,
what did
you
it
know,
say, though?
It said, I don't know, it has some words on the screen.
Yeah,
it might
fuck
just
it.
shut off. But yeah,
not
so
fucking with it anymore.
in general, they definitely did that on purpose.
Right. No, absolutely.
They said, there's no reason 5 people showed up.
Right.
Well,
Is this
yeah,
Michael
there
Jordan's
is.
house?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
there
no,
is.
no.
Like,
What I'm
nigga, I
saying is-
wipe my ass with this
right,
pizza. I can't
right.
wait for him to eat that
Right.
shit.
What I'm saying is,
I'm
they're like,
telling
wow,
you.
I get to be
Can't
a
wait for
legend.
Michael Jordan to
And
eat
one of
my
those
ass.
dudes was like, he about to get this work.
He
bro.
about to get the
And
bubble
would
guts.
I have done the same? Probably.
I mean, you got to think about it. They're in Utah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Don't order
absolutely.
pizza in Utah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that almost what is it?
Murder?
Murder, yeah, or assault or
Good luck
something.
proving it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah,
proving it.
no, and I think when you order pizza, right? Isn't there like some sort of like waiver the automatic for ordering
yeah.
it? There's some sort of waiver,
Right.
like say
You know,
like
yeah.
if you get fucking sick, it's on
It's
you,
on
nigga.
you.
Yeah,
But in general, yeah. So I definitely think they did it on purpose. But also, and hold on,
They probably put
somebody
arsenic
out
on
there-
him, but MJ's too much of a motherfucker to let the arsenic kill him. He was like, "Oh man, I just got diarrhea from your poison."
Right. Somebody out there said, "Oh man, I thought it was a flu game. That's crazy. Oh, he had the bubble guts. That makes it more impressive." Mm-hmm. You
No,
telling
yeah.
me if they're like, "Oh, it was the flu game."
Food poisoning.
No, bro. You telling me this dude kept his butthole clenched for 60 minutes?
I would have just shit on the floor. I
no,
would've
didn't he
walked over
play?
to-
Didn't he
Yeah.
play 45 minutes
That's
that
what I'm
game, or
saying.
something
That's
like
what I'm saying.
44 minutes?
Hold on. That's what I'm saying. It's
Something like
even
that,
more
yeah.
impressive. If I had a fever, yeah, that would suck. But I've had a fever before and been like, all right, cool. Once I get
I
moving,
have
I'm
more
moving.
ass than the average person, and I wouldn't have
Facts.
been able to
Bro,
keep it closed.
what I'm
My
saying
man
for
X
that
is
whole
cheeked
game.
up, by the way.
But hold on. That's what I'm saying. Hold on. Think
Shout
about
out to
this.
X's ass.
Slow it down
How
and really
hot
absorb.
was his butthole?
This dude was jumping, running, getting punched, falling, cheeks quaking every time he went up and down the court, and he didn't let a single drop. Bro,
Nigga.
you say flu game, I say poop game.
Was it Jerry Sloan? Jerry Sloan was the coach, right?
Yeah.
He also RIP, my man. He just died recently, actually.
Yeesh.
Jerry
Yeah,
Sloan
really.
was the coach of who?
Of the
Bulls.
Utah Jazz.
Oh yeah, Utah.
Utah
my
Jazz.
bad,
Phil
Utah Jazz.
Spencer.
Phil Spencer. Phil
Jackson.
Jackson.
But if you-
Jackson.
Phil Jackson.
Phil Spencer to do with the hair. Speaking of hair, real quick, who was that fucking security guard with the bleach blonde fucking
That was
curly
the best
shirt?
dude.
He is the true star of the documentary because I care more about him and where he is right now than I do anybody else on that show.
But yeah, go ahead.
You're gonna have to keep going. I lost it.
Oh, but yeah, no, the self saying like
just
so
like, nah, fuck
that's
you, bro.
way
That's-
more impressive to me. Like the fact that I don't care what people say. Like you say the flu game, I've had to poop before. I'm not talking about I've had to poop under no pressure.
No,
Like,
no,
I've
no.
been
Yeah.
sitting.
Just so
at home
everybody
chilling.
knows, this motherfucker used to have to go shit. He would leave
I would go
wherever
home.
we were.
I would go home and never come back.
Sometimes he'd come back, but most of the time he'd be like, "Nah, I gotta shit. I'm
can't-
out."
I-
And he
I
would
can't-
leave, no matter how far away we were from his house. And he would leave to go shit at his
Yeah,
house.
I can't poop on away games. So this dude literally had to hold it the whole trip back to Chicago, as far as I'm concerned.
But Jerry Sloan, he's like, listen, he was sick. No one told me. He was like, he went out, I think he scored like 35 points that game. And he's, if you want to bring up the stats, but he still went off. And you were talking about like, like he had to be carried off the court, like that iconic image of, him being wrapped around Scottie and Scottie walking him back. Like it's crazy because nigga, I've had food poisoning. I didn't want to do shit. Like all I was doing is fucking throwing up, shitting.
You did want to do shit.
Well, yeah, I wanted
right,
to shit.
yeah,
Yes,
right.
you're right.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Dookie.
impressive, dude. Like
Dookie
yeah,
jokes.
Again, man, I know we went off on some tangents here to relate it to sports and things like that, and our overall goal is to talk about the documentary. But the whole, I hate to say it, but the reason why this thing was so incredible was its relatability to everyday life in general. Like
Yeah,
we
struggle.
Do you think it resonates as much, though, with this newer generation of people?
Okay, so
Ooh.
no, and that's the craziest part. Now, again,
Like, this feels like it was
I
made
said
for us,
Yeah.
not
we're
for
old
them.
heads.
Yeah.
We're old.
No,
heads,
it
bro.
wasn't made. It wasn't made for the generation before us. It wasn't made for the generation after us. I feel like it was made
For us.
for the people who were kids when he was like this, and
Right.
said, "Do you really want to see
Yes, right.
what
No, I
this
mean,
motherfucker was like?"
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because, like, so one thing you texted us about, and you're like, who do you think is better, LeBron or Jordan? The reason why I said we should talk about it on the show is because I think the answer is moot. I think the answer is so useless because I think the better question to ask would Jordan be even more ridiculous in today's NBA? Yes.
I don't know if he would.
Yeah.
I definitely
What?
think he would.
It's his mindset that made him
But hold on,
dangerous.
think about it. Think about it.
I don't think it's the
He played
mindset that makes him dangerous. I think.
So think about the rules back then.
Are we saying he never played back then,
No,
and
no.
he only came
What I'm
up
saying,
like now?
right. Let's say he
No.
played now. The reason
Okay.
why I say he'd be more impressive is because you look at a player now, he gets a 2. Or he gets an and 1. Jordan was relentless with his attack. And he had to play under the old rules where if you went up for it, if somebody punched you in the
Had to
balls,
give you some
that
shit,
happened.
yeah.
That happened. Like you might get a foul. But now if I touched your palm, if you touched my palm, it's a foul on me somehow.
I will say that all the shit that you would see in the documentary that people would not get called a foul was ridiculous. Like if you would
Dude,
see that,
that
it
was
was
the
That
great.
last
I
Yeah.
episode,
Bro,
watching
bro, oh,
Rodman
boy.
and fucking Malone
Go at it.
Neither one of them get down the court because they were beating
That was
the absolute shit out of
incredible.
each
I
other,
love
and
it.
then they both
And then they said, "Let him play."
and then they both ass tapped each other and like, "Hey, good."
Right. They said,
job,
let him
bro.
play. That's the best way. Oh, boy. Oh, Horace Grant got hit with that elbow, and he was like, don't cry. Get up and let's play. And I'm like, yes.
Don't show him weakness. Get
yeah,
up.
don't show him weakness.
They
I'm
still
like,
lost.
that
Yo.
would never happen in today's
Thanks for
NBA.
talking about that. When fucking they were playing the last game when they played Detroit, and fucking they did that hard foul on Scottie, and Scottie came up with no expression. That shit gave me the fucking goosebumps. Like, I understand. He's like, you know what? No, because you want to see you want to see me wince. You want to see me in pain. Why the fuck? You want to see me wince.
That's
You
our
want to
timer,
see me
guys,
in
so
pain.
we know if we've talked too long, but I don't feel like we talked long enough, so
Yeah,
we're going to
we
keep
in there.
talking.
Yeah. But he was like, I know what you want. You want me to show weakness. Like, no, I'm a killer. I'm taking you out. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction even watch me wince. I'm going to get my ass up. No fucking expression. Make these shots and keep it fucking moving because I'm a fucking gangster.
I absolutely
Love it.
I
Then
absolutely
he turned out
love.
to be a bitch. So
I
let's-
love that the Pistons left without shaking hands, bro.
Nigga.
Love it.
I love that it's a discussion, but like, listen, I love the fact to say no, fuck you, because that's real shit. So one thing
let the game end.
Yes.
Like, I'm talking about like let it, bro. Like you can come find me in the locker room and say, hey, bro, tough game. You know, we play you guys hard. We finally got past you. We're gonna do it again next year. But while I'm taking an L, don't talk, bro. Don't. There's nothing more. If you've wrestled in high school, if you wrestled, played football, played basketball, anything in the world, any sport, nothing is worse than if you get dominated and he's like, "Hey man, good man, yeah, all right, cool, hey, okay." He's obviously that
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
When it's
But
great talking to great stuff, but when you got to talk to a whole team of people,
right, but
nah.
when it was life, or like when it was on the line and you were drained, that adrenaline dump, like everything, you're at your lowest low.
Right.
They're at their highest high. Don't come talk to me.
Yeah. Well, not only one thing I do want to talk about is one thing I relate to this a lot because there was definitely a big mindset change. So, like I said, I was a coach of robotics, and all the thing they talk about is this thing called gracious professionalism. And what that means is that no matter what happens, like you have to make sure that you're always poised, make sure you're gracious in defeat. No, fuck that. No. Hold on. So. Me, right, being a fucking, I'm like I said, I'm a nigga cut from New York, from the block, Manhattan, uptown. All I know is fucking be fucking vicious. Everything I ever played, every single sports I played, and I played a lot of them, right? It was you fucking eat that person's heart. That was just the mentality I had. It's ingrained in me. So when I see people fucking being like, oh man, you know, you did your best, and they go and shake your hand, like when that shit first happened, I was like, what the fuck is this? No, fuck you. I want to spin that person's hand, right? But the whole ethos in robotics was like, no, like you want to beat somebody at their best always, which they don't necessarily say that, but like you want the best for the other person, right?
Yeah. That's what I want them at their A1.
Yeah.
Most greatest, because when I beat them,
it feels great.
I want them in the dirt, bro.
Yeah. So I will say so it was definitely an adjustment period for me to be nice because I wanted to be cutthroat. I wanted to talk shit. I wanted to fucking stomp on you, all that shit, right? And so it would be like, oh no, hey man, good job, and people shaking my hand. But like I will say this, nothing hurt the most than after losing. Like say like you're in elimination, someone's like, hey man, good game. Having to walk over this still and being like, hey man, that was you did a fucking fantastic job. You really showed us there. Like having to go up and shake somebody else's hand that beat me hurt me every time. And so when Mike was like, no, motherfucker, I went there every year and I shook your hand, every single one of you, myself. I said, hey man, good game. And then you didn't show me that same courtesy. I'm mad.
I do get it though.
Yeah, I'm mad because I had to eat shit. You get to fucking walk off and not eat shit. No, fuck you. No, you shake my fucking hand.
Well, he even said, he's like, nah, fuck, they walked off, that's fine. But then I love when they tried to show him, it's like, here's what Isaiah said. He goes, I don't fucking care what he said. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
And then you see his face when he goes, I mean, that's just what you did. And Michael Jordan was like, and he made, our video's not working, so you can't see the face he made, but it's the same face he made.
Right,
so
but that's the thing.
Right.
So and it's always and that's the great part about this documentary. Sports is such a complicated thing.
Yeah, it's always nuanced.
Again, it's such a mix of emotions. Like when you beat a guy at his best, like it's so funny because as a fan, I'm totally fine watching like my team get a cheap dub, but as a competitor, I want all the right. Like nothing's worse than beating a person on an off day.
Right.
Because there's always a question.
Like the whole fucking Warriors team last year.
Bro, like you can't tell me, you can't.
What team? They were all dead.
They were all dead.
Right.
Right, I know.
But that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you take
when
you take a trophy,
don't
right.
watch, so I'm giving them a voice.
I personally want the feeling that like when okay, you know how I said the best thing to happen to baseball or basketball is LeBron leaving the East. I'm sure everybody in the East was like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Because now, no matter, I'm sure the city of Toronto is like, oh, great, we got this dub.
Right.
But I'm sure for the people who played on the Toronto's team from the year before, were like, now we can never say we were that team.
Right.
Sure, we have a trophy in our case, but you know what it is. You know what
they didn't have to go through LeBron.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They know what it is. Like, they know, he went, we arguably had a much easier time. Yeah, but all the games were close, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They won 2 games, 2 series were in 7. That was great to watch.
NBA's the playoffs last year was the shit.
The best in years.
Did they only win last year?
Yeah, first time ever.
First time ever. First time.
No. I'm not confused on how many times they've won. I'm saying that was only the last.
Yeah, it was only last year. Yeah.
Oh,
It just
Corona, and I can't.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
figure out
Season
what's-
ain't going. Yeah.
Coronavirus.
But yeah, so like sports is such
We
a
need an
complicated thing
auto-tune
because
thing.
even then, because when you said like I ate shit, you have to come eat shit too. Whatever. I actually legitimately understand because like
girls, one cup.
when I because like when you lose to somebody and you go over and you have to shake their hand. You
Sucks.
kind of do. It sucks, but you kind of do soften up. You're like, this dude was doing. I did my.
The only
best.
time
Right.
it didn't feel
Yeah.
bad is if the other team actually fought just as hard as you. It wasn't
Right.
that you
yeah.
fucked
Well,
up.
that's
it
what
was
I'm saying.
that you
That-
gave it your best,
so
and
again,
you still
that's what I
got
was saying.
bested.
Right.
Like,
but that's what
that's
happened.
okay.
That's literally the situation. They said, no, fuck you. I'm not shaking your
Right.
hand.
And you see what I'm saying? Like, so I get
That's
it.
a really Detroit thing to do, though. I mean,
No,
if
no,
it was
I
any-
fuck with it.
And
No, I
that's
fuck
the
with it.
problem.
If it was any
Remember
other
how I
team-
said that? Remember I said I was
Yeah.
like, but that's personality.
Yeah.
If a team did that now, I would be outraged.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not
And
even
that's
saying
crazy.
that's
Yeah.
a Detroit team thing to do.
Yeah.
It's the city.
Detroit
Bro,
is a city of
right,
Detroit.
That's
Yeah.
the point.
And, yeah,
the city
it's awesome.
Is the team. They when I think of Golden State, I think that Clay and Stephen are perfect for that
Okay,
mentality
real quick.
Yeah.
because everything is it's
Pristine.
smooth,
So
it's
Steve
easy.
Kerr was wearing
Yeah.
a Golden State shirt by happenstance, or because he had something to do with them.
He's the coach of the Golden State Warriors.
I'm sorry, dude.
Nigga, I love this
Maybe
so much.
that's why I know
love
his
this so
name.
much. I love
He
this
was
so
wearing
much.
that Golden State shirt the whole time. I'm like,
Yeah,
did he
he's
play
the
on Golden
coach.
State? I'm like,
Oh,
and then I
nigga,
looked him
I
up,
love it.
and he didn't. But
No, he's
that
the-
was just his
yeah,
NBA
he's the-
career.
he's
But
the
that
coach.
wasn't. Oh, okay.
Which is also weird to me because it's weird to see like
Maybe that's why they all
the
shoot
coach-
threes so good. You see Steve Kerr dropping those
Right,
buckets on
but-
that fucking.
Well, remember I said basketball cyclical. They were like kind of the whole start
No, I
of
think I'm
like,
just a
hey,
genius.
let's just move everybody out here, and then it doesn't matter if you're 7 feet tall.
Like
Right.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Right.
Hail
But
to Boogie.
Now, right, but so
Boogie the King.
Yeah, that's such
He
a
the
weird,
real GOAT. If he wasn't hurt, he'd be schooling everybody.
Nigga, we can have a whole podcast on Boogie Cousins. Nigga, I
We
can
have-
look.
honestly, we could do one. But
Oh,
Keep my
man.
name out your mouth.
yeah, the great, yeah, like it's one of the things I know this is gonna sound dumb because we just talked about how important
Lonzo
competitive
Ball.
spirits are, like how important that is. But at a certain point, it pains me to say this, like sometimes you don't have to be a dick.
Wrong. NBA would still be so much better if
If everybody were dicks.
if not. So you have. I watched this documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see all this shit. You all see, and then it reminds me that the most pivotal basketball moment I can remember in my teenage years was Ron Artest.
Malice at the Palace?
That was Detroit, though, right? Mm-hmm. They were playing the Pistons.
Obviously.
Yes, sir.
I love that Detroit said.
No, sorry, Meta World Peace. Please don't sue us.
Meta World
Meta World
Peace.
Peace.
Isn't it like Love Pandas
Panda's
now or
friend.
something?
Panda's friend.
Something. But I love, and I can't help but think, no, I won't because I'm not Daniel Tosh and I can't say what he says and get away with it. But
Yeah.
there's a Daniel Tosh skit on fucking Ron Artest. Go listen to it. It's funny. But listen or watching that, if basketball was always like that, like they said 1 out of every 10 games is going to
Like
end.
hockey?
Not
Yeah,
even.
I was like,
not
you
even
want
just
basketball to be
Not
happy?
even just like hockey. They even brought it up in there. They're just like, we like the Pistons were like, we like a hockey team. We're gonna beat the fuck out of them. We're gonna do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need every game to be like that. I just want you to tell me that
When you play one team.
1 out of every 10 televised, like nationally televised matches, not those ones that are like, if it's your town, then this game always plays, but like the big games. If 1 out of every 10 was gonna end the way that ended, I would watch every game because I would want to watch every single time there was a fight.
So you want there to be like a
Like a NASCAR wreck.
taker, so they sub it like Johnny.
So they want an enforcer in the NBA.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like so, Johnny Holcomb is out there. You know what that means? And like
Puts him in the mouth.
just goes up to the star like, bing, hold on, gets his tech and gets suspended.
But
for
that's
the
what I'm
next
saying
game.
though. But that's what I'm saying though. If you had somebody that you knew was gonna foul out immediately, but it was like the whole thing is like, if you're gonna foul them, they better know you fouled them. I watched that.
Right.
I want to watch somebody go up and then somebody take both their hands, push them as hard as they can in the middle of a jump shot, kind of like in any anime
make it
ever,
count.
and they go flying into the fucking
a designated
announce-
tech taker. Like honestly, I'm honestly not quite sure. So. I'm honestly not quite sure why. I was just now thinking about it.
You could
If
pay
there was
anybody to do that. Imagine they give
'cause
Terry
remember-
Crews an extra $1 million to run out
Just
to the
get the
field.
biggest,
and they're like,
strongest dude
okay,
you got.
have you
Have him come out and get it and foul out. So like, but hey, Curry's
Ray
up.
Lewis,
Curry's
call,
up. Just start
or
just
Ray
kicking
Rice.
him. Kicking
Call,
him.
Ray,
Oh,
call Ray
geez.
Rice up and be like, hey,
I can't believe we made that a full circle. That's the one thing we full circled here.
Wow.
we
Was
know
Ray
you can
Rice.
throw a punch. Now
Hey,
go out on
Chekhov's
the court.
gun, bro. We talking
Hey,
about Ray
I
Rice.
learned
in the
that,
beginning.
right?
There we go.
It starts, you got to finish it.
Right.
Ray Rice can throw
I
punches.
was saying, yeah, true. But yeah, just have a dude. When Steph Curry's on the court, he just subs out. The dude's just responsible for giving Steph
like-
6 fouls worth of business before he
There's
gets out of
like,
there.
this man is only 6 foot tall and weighs 100 pounds more than Curry. I don't think he can hit threes. Like, but they can hit.
Yeah, he can hit 3. You're like 3 what?
Wink, wink.
Oh, wait.
All right, so just to kind of wrap this up, we have been going fucking 2 hours
Yeah,
here.
no doubt.
So what are some final things that you guys want to talk about the documentary? Just some quick things. What do you took away from it?
Xavier, start off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, I don't know, we've said it like 100 times. I think it was really well thought out. And
Incredible.
as somebody who is not up to date on sports and somebody who wasn't really even up to date on sports when I was a kid, I just kind of, I knew what was going on. I knew who was a big deal. I played the basketball games. My dad was super into basketball and he played it a lot and, all this other shit. But watching something like this to give you an interest in people that you didn't know, to look at something that you've only ever really heard about, I think was really cool. I think it's super impactful from so many standpoints on, who Michael Jordan is, But yeah, like we said before, it wasn't just him. And I mean, you can go through on the ESPN app and pick out the people that they talk about and watch like a 32-minute clip on just the background of those people and the fact that they go through Rodman, they go through Pippen, they go through Kerr, they go through Phil Jackson, they talk about Jerry Krause, they talk about all the shit. I would have never cared. I honestly still don't care in the grand scheme of how it affects sports and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But it was something that we had said we were going to talk about. I put off watching it. Didn't realize it was 10 hours. I thought it was going to be like 4 or 5 episodes. But
What a wild Friday.
for the last 2 days, I've been really captivated with this true piece of history that I grew up with, that I was able to see a lot more about,
depth.
and then you can understand how things have transpired from then to today. We keep making jokes about me being the stats or the fact checker or whatever, but it compelled me to look certain things up. I looked up.
That's what I said at
looked
the
up LeBron's career to date stats. I looked up Kobe's. I was interested to see how many rings Shaq had. I was curious to see how many rings XYZ had. I now know that
Robert Horry, the
Barkley has no rings. Reggie Miller, I knew he had no rings, but I wanted to double check just in case I was wrong. And shit like that. And I thought it was truly interesting to go through and see some of this shit and compare it to this documentary and see how, basketball in 2020 is changed from then. But at the same time, I think about Kobe, because obviously Kobe was a few years after Michael. I mean, I know he started in 98 and then they obviously played together a few times. But you watch Kobe play and you watch some of the bullshit that Michael pulls off, that entire fucking documentary, and you see how many people are doing that today, how you introduce the finesse and the big jumps and the backhanded layups and the fucking fake outs and all this shit. You can go back and watch like the Wilt Chamberlain basketball games, and it's this motherfucker
just
was
straight
a
running in a
foot,
straight line.
and he's a foot taller than
Right.
everybody else. So like, Wilt
Embarrassing
Chamberlain
people.
has the best whatever. And you're like, this motherfucker was 7.5 feet tall. Everybody else was 3 feet tall. And how hard
And
is it
also
to
didn't have
fucking...
you could spend as much time in the paint as you wanted to. So if
And
you're
there's
the
no
tallest
shot
dude,
clock.
right?
So they're still saying like he's got the most rings. He's got 73 records, 68 of which
Well,
he
yeah,
held by
when you can
himself.
stand under
well,
the
yeah,
basket and just
when
get
you
you,
can
right.
just sit there and they can just chuck it to you.
Hey, pass it to Wilt. Oh, okay.
What's the
Wilt
strategy?
the Still Chamberlain. I learned that from NBA Street 2, Volume 2, the best of the series. First off, but anyway, so yeah, I thought it was really cool. A lot of these people. Is Jerry Krause dead?
Yes, he is.
Is that why he wasn't in the...
R.I.P. Jerry Krause.
Rest in peace, Jerry Krause.
Was it the Toon Squad that got him?
We are. D-Mark, what are your final thoughts?
All right. Well, yeah, just kind of in that same
We don't
vein.
wanna go back.
Just an incredible snapshot in history, like especially for. I hate to say again, it's gonna make me sound old. It's kind of funny to watch this now in our era because when you see like the Wilt Chamberlains and the logo and stuff like that, we weren't around for that.
Right.
You can show me a document. I can't. I would be lying if I said I appreciate any basketball from before Jordan was popular. I would be. I actually don't even think those people were nearly as athletically talented as people today.
I don't remember a
No,
time.
yeah.
Like I don't even remember the conversation being before 84,
Right.
85 when
Good-
Jordan
right.
got in the league.
Like I just don't believe. I legitimately don't believe athletes existed before a certain point in
Yeah.
time. There's just people who did a thing.
I want to know
But
why
it's
he
cool.
doesn't have like a fucking profit share in the NBA.
Who?
Michael Jordan. When
Do you
you can
know
kind of
why?
contribute, you can
Hold on.
equally contribute all the
Oh, what's
popularity.
up? No, go ahead. Let us know.
oh, I don't have the exact
Oh,
reason.
bro.
You
Here's what I was gonna
motherfucker.
say.
Come on,
Here's what I was
dog.
gonna
You
say.
know why?
Here's-
Actually, I don't know.
Do you know why though? Like he probably doesn't care.
Because he's got a bajillion dollars,
How many dollars? What's his net worth?
like 900 million.
Not even close.
Dang, man.
That isn't a Billy's.
It ain't a Billy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it?
Yeah.
It ain't a Billy.
It's a few Billy's.
Is it a couple
he,
Billies?
he is the owner of the Hornets.
$2.1 billion
Billion.
dollars. Now, I know this because I looked it up. I know that Air Jordan did $3.1 billion last year, a part of Nike's $13.8 billion fiscal earnings.
That's
now,
Yeah.
$70.
when people want to bring up, I thought about this really quick, and I know we talked about this.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
LeBron versus Jordan, greatest player of all time. LeBron's worth $495 million. Jordan's worth $2.1
Well, yeah, he's
billion.
also
But
much
over
older.
amount of what time? Come
He's
on,
also
dog.
older. You have to do it by year by year.
Yeah.
Do it like year and I mean, I'm just saying.
LeBron's
You gotta also
shoes don't
What's the
consider-
sell.
percentage of wealth by time? No. I'm saying.
You also consider Nike was nothing when he joined it and
Right.
became something, so you have to think about like his
Right,
investments
he also
and
was from the beginning.
Yeah,
So
bro.
That's a little different story. That's
Yeah.
It may be a different story, but I don't ever see LeBron being worth $2.1 billion.
yeah,
I
he
can
will.
totally see
Yeah.
him being worth $2.1 billion pretty
He has too
easily.
much
Absolutely.
money.
Money is worth more now than
Yeah.
it was back. I mean, I'm not saying like it's a dumb thing to say because inflation, but I'm saying is like are you talking about because of inflation? Because technically George Washington was like the second richest president ever, but he wasn't a
As
millionaire.
of 2020,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's net worth is $2.1 billion.
Right. What I'm saying is, so you don't think at any time, you don't think between now. That's weird. That's a weird sentence. We're gonna have to timestamp
I'm going to
this
say
day.
LeBron's
You don't think he'll ever
wealth
pass
is
that?
receding like his hairline.
Well, you got to think
First
too,
off,
like,
he saved his hairline.
Pro Pisha.
Propecia did his thing.
oh my
Pro
god.
Pisha has saved so many people. Hey, you were talking about balding last
Oh,
week.
thanks a lot.
Bro.
Yeah. Now I need
He
Propecia.
gonna get it, bro.
Now,
I'm
the
gonna
thing
get
I don't
Pro Pisha.
understand
Nothing wrong
is
with it.
you got so much hair
It just
that you
goes.
keep saying you're balding, but I'm not really sure.
Can we not have this discussion right now?
That's
I'm
fair.
pretty
Yeah, we'll do that.
invulnerable
We'll do-
about it right now.
You're
Yeah.
invulnerable.
I'm pretty
So you-
vulnerable.
so
Vulnerable.
you and Pitt-
I am vulnerable.
I'm invulnerable, bitch, but I'm sensitive.
I know I'm draping right now, but like, yeah, there's
It's
some
swimming.
pretty.
You swimming. You can swim.
Yeah,
in it.
You pull his
no.
hair up
But
and
yeah,
it's really
so
just patches.
it's
Nigga,
summation,
nigga.
But in general, yeah, like it's a cool snapshot in our childhoods. Like like I said, I don't care about anything that happened. I don't care about basketball before then. It wasn't real to me,
Yeah.
honestly. But it's cool to see something that I could only have a cursory knowledge of as a child.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, man, there's so much more to this.
Well, it's kind of like when we kind of first started getting into UFC, right? And you see like what it's become now. And for someone when you see like the all
there
the
for the Bonner,
exactly,
like Bonner
nigga.
Griffin, we were
yes,
there,
we were
bro.
there for that.
Yeah.
And now to see like this whole like it's old sports league, it's the same thing, right?
It's a shell of what
Yeah.
it used to be.
In all
Exactly.
fairness, I did watch Kid and Shamrock kick somebody for 45 minutes.
Right.
I've never
That's what I'm
watched.
saying.
I've
Like,
never watched Jordan do
but
something.
We need
so
to watch
low.
Pride. Have you seen Pride fights?
a mess.
Pride is the shit.
Is Pride all the old guys?
It's the one where they can soccer kick people in the fucking face.
Pride is where you can literally spike someone's neck on the ground, and they're just like, "Nice, here's an award."
Yeah, here's a trophy.
absolutely
Here's a
wanna
trophy.
watch
Yes,
Pride.
absolutely.
We can do that. But
So
yeah.
let me get the
I watched
random.
Silva
Wrap it up.
kick himself in the knee.
One thing that I did really appreciate about this documentary is that
Still hurts though.
to me it kind of spoke about the cost of greatness, and that's really what I took from it. And it could be because, like I said, I have that bias of very recently coming off my relationship with being a coach for 4 years, right, and actually being a part of something for 14 years or however long I've been doing it. And to be like, yeah, there's people that'll see things through their perspective, but everyone's talking about how they felt, how things were. Like, if you see the story kind of go about, you kind of see like, this is how it affected me, this is how it affected me, right? So all we all know is that Jordan won championships and that the Bulls were great, but you see like the different things that happened in between, like things that were going on with Michael, his resentment, his personal trials and tribulations, his teammates, and all that stuff, right? So at the very end, it talks about, like, he says, this is how I did it. It's not necessarily the answer, but I mean, I have stuff that we can talk about, right? I got 6 championships. I won 2 3-peats. I did that, right? To me, kind of worth it, right? And his thing is like, I think he talked to any one of my teammates. Hopefully they understand, like, hey, my thing was, yeah, it sucked. The ride sucked, but we got to our destination, and that should be like, it's worth it because we got here, right? And people want to paint Jordan in this negative light and call him a bully and all that stuff. And I don't necessarily think he was a bully. Probably by today's 2020 standards, he's probably a bully.
Then it was regular.
Yeah, no, back then, I mean, that's just how you did shit, right? You were the guy that had to take shit by the balls and take shit from nobody. And I kind of model my coaching style similar to him. I think I'm more of a hybrid between like Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, right? Where you have to be tough sometimes, but at the same time, you have to understand that everybody's different and you can't necessarily treat everybody the same way. That was probably Jordan's fault, is that he assumed that everybody wanted greatness and that everybody was willing to win at all costs. And you kind of understood that as the documentary went on, that everybody had their own things they were worried about and things that they probably prided higher than winning. But obviously they're like, oh, well, we have a championship now, so I guess, Michael's great. Right. But they're going to talk about like how, oh, he told me I couldn't have food because I didn't play a good game. Horace Grant, bitch ass nigga.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They're like, oh, that was it sucked while we did it.
Right, no, exactly.
Look
at all these rings,
But
exactly.
then he wrote a poem and everybody was like, "You're cool, dude."
I don't think he actually wrote a poem. I think that was just like Steve Kerr trying to like doll it up a little bit personally.
Right.
Because
But they had that really sad shot of him from behind on that bench. Look like
yeah, that was an epic
crying.
shot. That was an epic scene and epic shot for sure.
I
But
want to say 2 things really quick.
yeah,
And it's not so
damn
much
nigga, how
about-
you know I was done? What the fuck? Like I
you
was
done
even.
now.
You were talking.
damn, okay, yeah, my bad.
talked.
Yeah, okay, daddy.
Done.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Anyway, 2 things that I think are the biggest takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up,
Even though you went first.
yeah.
Uh huh.
But that was about
Yeah.
the documentary as a whole.
Oh.
These are one major fact. One's a joke, like his cigars got way skinnier because he's an old bitch.
The jaundice.
That's the
Those
other
eyes
thing.
were freaking
Guys,
me out.
Michael Jordan, if you ever hear this, please go to a doctor. Your eyes are too yellow. Something's wrong with your liver. Now, the biggest takeaway. Did y'all hear growing up
Y'all here?
how bad he was in baseball? But then you watch this documentary. No, oh my God. All I ever heard was he had a 200 batting average. He never really actually made it to the pros. He never made all this. And I didn't know that A, there was a strike, and B, everybody who played baseball was like, the fact that he did this in this short amount of time is absolutely incredible.
Especially, dude, that
No,
was
yeah.
incredible. It's like he was like, oh man, normally we would send people like this down to super baby
Like
league.
single A,
Too
yeah.
Single A.
many
But he
people to
said-
care about him.
Too few people in the stadium, so we got that's the definition of failing upward. Like not in a mean way, but literally be like, dang, this dude is not good enough to be here, but we can't put him over there because also it just not logistically possible. Like he literally,
And even though he sucked after a while, he had a 13-game
but then,
hit streak.
right.
Yeah.
So, but here's the problem:
So
is
people confused
also
him,
it's-
so he played harder, so he
but
could
it's
get
also
better?
relative because like they're like, hey,
We can't
if
say
he
that.
had been what I'm saying is like if he had been where he was supposed to be, he might have been like a super all-star at that level. But
Right.
they were like, but here's that's the craziest greatest part. They're like, hey, you've got to play up. Like you're not qualified to do this job, but we need you to do it. He said, okay.
Yeah. And the fact that he got better, first off, people that don't play baseball, having a 200 batting average is not great now. But back then, like, people's batting average, you looked at the MLB, like, yeah, it was like 200, 230, a really good batter, like a really, really excellent batter, probably 300, maybe even like excellent, it's like 315. So 200 is like, it's not great, but it's still like okay, especially for like a center fielder. Like it's serviceable.
Even Bugs Bunny gave him shit though.
Yeah, I mean, Bugs Bunny's a fucking goat. That man plays every single sport, and he also has to worry about getting hunted. So like he's in a completely different league of his own.
And he got Lola.
But with all that being said, guys, the documentary was fantastic. I have nothing but 5 stars for me, 14 thumbs up, 2 big stiffies for me.
First off, that's the way we're rating things from now on.
No. There's
2
3
stiffies. How many stiffies does it get from you?
No,
2 stiffies is maximum.
How hard were you doing?
I feel like
The hardest.
Okay, hold on. I need to know the
He
criteria
needs
so
to
I can rate it
process.
properly.
I got to process. Hold
First
on.
off, I got 2 thumbs. I don't.
5 stars, 2 thumbs, 2 stiffies.
No.
Stiffies.
Is it how many you got during, or is there 3 of us? So the max that we can get is 3 stiffies. So we all decide
2
together.
stiffies individually. Like each person.
So
can-
6 stiffies is maximum rating.
But how do I only have one.
No.
It's
No.
the amount of stiffness.
Yeah.
It's like hard. Have you ever like scratched?
Got it.
Diamond has
Hard
a hardness
times 2.
Right,
Yeah.
It's versus waking up versus
Yeah,
wanting. I
right.
gotcha. So 2 stiffies is like.
No. Hold on. When I wake up and when I'm trying to fuck, it's the same amount of stiff. I'm gonna be honest. Same
not me,
stiffness.
it's not, nah.
No. My shit is hard at all times.
Okay, so
not at all times,
I'm
but
gonna give this a stout 3 stiffies.
3 stiffies.
Yeah.
3
I
out of
thought
2
two was- I
stiffies.
thought
No,
two was-
he's doing a Dave Meltzer.
This is 3 out of 2
Dave Meltzer.
stiffies. In general, it was good across the board. Like it and music, cinematography, the story it told.
I
Whole thing was
can't.
A1.
I don't see fault in something that I can watch for 10 hours over the course of a day and a half and not feel like I
I
wasted
stayed up
any
till
amount of
up
time.
to 4 a.m. this morning.
I was
Making sure
most mad.
And I wasn't even mad.
Now, granted, when I said I got on ESPN and I didn't have to put anything in, somehow I'm signed in on somebody else's ATTUverse account. Which
Wow.
is why
So you're stealing?
Whoa,
What is your
snitchy, snitch,
problem?
snitchy?
I
Man.
didn't sign in on it.
Anyways, with that being said, guys, it's been an awesome episode. This has been When Awesome Collides. I am your boy Maui.
6 out of 6 stars.
3
Championship.
stiffies way
6
up.
rings. 6
Again, hey,
rings.
6 rings, 16
Hey,
stiffies.
there you go. Thanks for joining us. Tune in for if you haven't watched
Isn't
the first
stiffy
episode,
like riding
make sure to
backwards
go
on a
watch that.
skateboard?
No, it's a hard dick.
Yeah, we talked about Dave, great show in that one, the first season. So please check that out. Check out our social media links in the description. Again, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.
Brought to you by Ginger Sprite. They don't know it, but they love it.
I fucking love Ginger Sprite.
It's real good.
Diet or regular.